Angeles Talk, News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Senate lawmakers are convening this hour for the first time since the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham this weekend. President Trump says he spoke to South Carolina's governor and suggested that Graham's sister be chosen to finish out the 71-year-old's term. The president says it would be a, quote, fabulous tribute. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more on Graham's ability to work across the aisle.
There was perhaps no Republican in Congress closer to President Trump. Graham serving as a key advisor and defender. The pair often seen golfing. Trump saying Graham was like a member of his family and that he spoke with him the night he died. A two-decade veteran of the Senate who also served in the House, he was the last of a trio of Senate best friends that included John McCain and Joe Lieberman. They called themselves the Three Amigos.
Following strikes between the U.S. and Iran, the Strait of Hormuz is facing renewed blockades. Iran announcing that the strait would be closed again to shipping traffic. President Trump responding, telling Fox and Friends that the U.S. will reimpose the naval blockade and also charge a toll for security.
We should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed.
That's leading to some surge in oil gas prices. In Maine, according to multiple sources, federal immigration authorities were involved in a shooting in the town of Biddeford. Senator Angus King of Maine says that the man who was shot and killed this morning by ICE agents had been given a final order to be removed from the country, and King is also calling for a transparent investigation. Fans are remembering Sam Neill. He was the star of movies like Jurassic Park and The Piano and The Hunt for Red October. He passed away. He was known for his unmistakable voice and remarkable range, and he built a career defined by memorable performances and enduring grace. He was born in Northern Ireland and raised in New Zealand. Sam Neill was 78. You're listening to ABC News.
That'll be 84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Firefighters continue to battle multiple blazes in western states. One pilot was killed Sunday when a firefighting aircraft went down in a reservoir in southwest Colorado.
The K-MAX heavy lift helicopter was in the air for nearly an hour, dipping its bucket into the Silverjack Reservoir in Gunnison County, drawing up water and dumping it onto the Gold Mountain wildfire. After 5 in the afternoon, fire commanders got a report that the aircraft had gone into the reservoir. The pilot's body was recovered 5 hours later.
ABC's Jim Ryan. 12 states are now suing to block that proposed merger between Paramount Plus and Warner Brothers Discovery and keep it from moving forward.
The new lawsuit claims the $110 billion deal to merge two of the largest entertainment companies in the world would result in less competition, higher prices, and fewer options on the big and the small screen. California Attorney General Rob Bonta leading the effort.
Movie theaters, basic cable TV distributors, and audiences on every sofa and in every movie seat would feel the impact of this unlawful merger.
Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Earlier this year, the Justice Department said that it was not planning to challenge the merger. Recovery efforts continuing in Venezuela following the back-to-back earthquakes. Officials say 4,561 deaths have now been confirmed, with nearly 17,000 others injured. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, July 13th. Port of Port Angeles will resume direct management of the Port Angeles Boat Haven, Boatyard, and fuel operations starting this Wednesday. The port announced on Friday it has reached an agreement with Petrocard on the transition of the facilities. Under the existing contract, the port has the option to assume management with notice and says it made the business decision to bring operations back in-house. Officials say customers should notice little change during the transition. Marina services, boatyard operations, crane services, emergency response capabilities, and fuel sales are all expected to continue without interruption. The port and Petrocard say that they work collaboratively to develop the transition plan, trying to maintain continuity of service while allowing each organization to focus on moving ahead. A 20-year-old Marysville man was killed. Another 20-year-old man from Forks was injured in a single-vehicle rollover crash on Highway 112 west of the Clallam River Saturday night. According to the State Patrol, the crash happened just before 8 p.m. on 112 near milepost 18. Troopers say a 1994 Ford Ranger was traveling westbound when the driver tried to pass another vehicle in the eastbound lane. The pickup then lost control, rolled over, came to rest on the westbound shoulder. The passenger, identified as Joseph Franklin, 20, of Marysville, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, Francisco Quineke Guerrero, also age 20, of Forks, was transported to Forks Community Hospital with injuries. State Patrol says neither occupant was wearing a seatbelt. Drugs and alcohol are not believed to have been factors in the crash. A Coast Guard helicopter crew out of Port Angeles rescued a 15-year-old boy Friday evening after he suffered a medical emergency at Shai Shai Beach in Olympic National Park. The Coast Guard says the National Park Service requested assistance about 5 p.m. for the teen experiencing severe abdominal pain and vomiting in that remote coastal area. The MH-65 Dolphin helicopter arrived about 6:45 p.m. where the crew completed a 110-foot hoist to safely lift the boy from the beach. The teen was flown to Air Station Port Angeles where emergency medical personnel took over, transporting him to Olympic Medical Center for more treatment. Now with a look at some other things that happened over the past few days, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
The weekend started out with enormous promise of it being a record breaker with 3 abandoned vehicles, a harassment, a DUI, 2 thefts, a burglary, and 2 auto crashes, and a bomb threat all in the first 8 hours. Fortunately, promises made are not always kept. Things became a lot more normal and more fun after that, with 2 weekend public car shows in Port Angeles and a private one in Sequim. Barbecues everywhere. And disturbingly, a lot of fireworks. Complaints started at 6:45 p.m. Friday for fireworks use along Forested Slab Camp Road and Highway 101 East and Craig Avenue. The final report came at 2:30 yesterday morning regarding fireworks use along Little River Road. Elsewhere, there were suicide attempts or threats 3:30 Friday afternoon, 9 o'clock that night, and 12:30 yesterday morning, all in or near Port Angeles. Last weekend, we were impressed by a record-breaking 7 abandoned vehicles. Well, now that record was broken this weekend with 9 abandoned. 1 in Forks, 2 in Sequim, 6 in Port Angeles. Another high number involved 5 known vehicle accidents, with the first one 9 o'clock Friday morning in the Ennis Creek Cutoff, followed by number 2 5 minutes later in Forks and number 3 in Sequim, 3:30 that afternoon. And then drivers had better luck for the next several hours. It was silent, but the silence was broken by a crash at 9 o'clock Saturday morning along Old Olympic Highway, followed by the final known weekend crash 4 hours later along East First Port Angeles. Disturbances included events regarding West Lordson Boulevard, East First, and Forks Avenue in Forks, plus a bomb threat at 8:32 Friday morning at the courthouse. That was handled using the usual efficient and safe procedures. Over the weekend, we were joined in watching gasoline prices here by hundreds of out-of-town visitors, many driving special cars that should be using ethanol-free gasoline. We found the highest gasoline prices in both Sequim and Port Angeles to be $5.80. The cheapest also in Sequim, about 40 cents a gallon less, but still far above the national average. And still in the high price bracket, ethanol-free gasoline has dropped fractionally to just a skosh under $7 a gallon. You'll Need to bring your own champagne glass for dispensing. Sandy Keys, KONP Local News.
These days, we are constantly told to be afraid of each other,
of our neighbors, our co-workers, and even our family members.
That's exactly what the rich and powerful want.
I don't want to live in a world which rich and powerful tell us what to do. So let's do things different.
Say hi to your bus driver.
Shake hands with a neighbor.
Thanks to a cannery worker.
Say hey to a stranger.
Blue Collar, we have each other's backs. BlueCollarUnity.org.
Paid for by Firelands Workers Building Community Power.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next new or pre-owned vehicle. How about a new Ford F-150 for those tough tasks, a sleek Ford Mustang, or a versatile Escape for your daily commute? Price Ford has a comprehensive selection for every need and budget. Our knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect vehicle that fits your lifestyle and budget. Price Ford, next to Walmart in Port Angeles, or priceford.com.
Bathfitter is celebrating over 42,000 installations in Western Washington. That's 42,000 bathrooms made safer, cleaner, and more stylish. Right now, get free installation and no interest financing for 24 months on the bathroom of your dreams. Custom fit tub and shower solutions installed in as little as 1 day with complete removal of your old setup, backed by a lifetime warranty. Visit bathfitternw.com for your free consultation. Special financing for qualified buyers only.
In other news, NOAA announced Friday the availability of a draft environmental assessment for the Olympic Coast Exploration Center, which is planned for the Port Angeles waterfront. The draft EA evaluates the potential environmental impacts of NOAA's proposed action to join Farrell Marine Life Center in its development of that facility. NOAA's requesting review and any comments on the draft EA through July 27th. The proposed action involves NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries providing partial funding for the construction of that 14,000 square foot exploration center. It's being constructed by the Farrell Marine Life Center. The facility will include public aquarium exhibits, classrooms, and a variety of North Pacific marine life. It'll be located near Field Hall in downtown. An investigation ordered by Governor Bob Ferguson into members of the State Fish and Wildlife Commission is taking longer and costing more than expected. Public records show the inquiry has already cost nearly $80,000. It could reach $130,000 before wrapping up. The investigation began last summer after concerns were raised over commissioners' conduct surrounding a 2022 vote that would ban spring black bear hunting. An outside investigator submitted findings in April, but the governor's office says the report's still under review and now expects to release it by the end of this month. Ferguson has not commented publicly on the investigation. And Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is leading a lawsuit joined by 14 other states challenging the Trump administration's planned cuts to school-based mental health funding. The lawsuit seeks to block the end of a federal grant program created after the 2018 Parkland school shooting and expanded following the 2022 Uvalde tragedy. Washington officials say ending the grants would cost schools and universities more than $20 million. The coalition argues the cuts violate a federal court order and congressional intent. The U.S. Department of Education has not publicly responded to this latest lawsuit. This is News Radio KONP.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines once again on our Clallam County All-Volunteer Disaster Airlift Response Team, known as DART. The DART continues to grow and refine their life-saving capabilities with annual intensive training of over 20 pilots with their own airplanes and 30 ground support folks. Our DART is the first and only fully developed all-volunteer DART in Washington State. As part of DART training, Grocery Outlet and Costco Wholesale have generously stepped up to provide non-perishable food items for our DART pilots to transport to our county airports, where the food is then donated to local food banks. We train to save lives when needed. Our website is clallamdart.com or call 360-461-0175.
In 1983, Tom and Ida McEwen opened All Weather Heating and Cooling. Their vision for a family-owned and operated business with personalized customer service made them the #1 choice for your heating and cooling needs. In 2014, their daughter Janae and her business partner Dustin Halverson purchased All Weather. In preserving Tom and Ida's vision, customer service is still top priority and your only local, authorized Carrier dealer. All Weather Heating and Cooling, because everyone calls us.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with highs around 68. North winds around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, lows level off around 52. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 72. Low 70s Wednesday and Thursday with a slight chance of rain Thursday. Looking at the long range, 71 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 77 on Sunday. To recap, high of 68 today, low of 52 tonight, a high of 72 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 62.
61 at the break and holding. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Dodgers have been holding at 61 wins since last Wednesday when they beat Colorado. This weekend they were swept by the Diamondbacks. LA swept for the first time this season. Last team to be swept, Arizona with a 5-3 win yesterday. White Sox became the 12th team to 50 wins.
Swinging a fly ball to right. It's deep, and it is gone off the top of the fence and over. Butler made a leaping attempt, and he couldn't get it. Braden Montgomery with a 3-run homer. It's 6-1.
ESPN 1000, White Sox beat the A's 9-1, win number 50. Phillies shut off the Tigers 5-0. Zach Wheeler, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. He gets his 10th win. His teammate Chris Sanchez, meanwhile, will get the start for the National League for the All-Star game tomorrow in Philly. The American League will go with Dylan Cease from the Blue Jays. Toronto losing to the Padres yesterday 5-4. San Diego taking the lead with 2 in the 8th. Braves score in the top of the 9th on a Cardinals error. They win 4-3. Yankees get a 2-run triple from Ben Rice in the 8th. They beat Washington 5-3. Red Sox rally from down 2 in the 9th and beat the Mets 3-2 in 10. Boston's 9th straight win. Pirates sweep Milwaukee 14-5. Guardians sweep the Marlins 5-2. Cubs double up the Reds 8-4. Rangers get a walk-off single from Brandon Nimmo. They beat Houston 6-5. WNBA fever, a 34-point rout of the Aces in Las Vegas. The same Aces team that won by 48 on Saturday. Wings get a double-double from Paige Beckers. They beat Chicago 96-91. Warriors are hiring Frank Vogel as their associate head coach. Officials in Michigan will meet this week, and in the spotlight is the culture of the athletic department and potentially the future of athletic director Ward Manuel. World Cup semifinals tomorrow. The Final Four is set. To that end, FIFA says they'll talk about expanding to a possible field of 64.
In some local sports, local youth baseball teams turned in a strong weekend as Port Angeles hosted state Babe Ruth and Cal Ripken tournaments. The biggest highlight came from Wilder 14U. They captured the state Babe Ruth championship with a 10-0 win over the FCA Lumberjacks. Wilder finishing that tournament at 3-1. In Cal Ripken play, Wilder 12 and under finished 3-2, falling 4-1 to Silverdale in an elimination game. Wilder 10 and under went 3-3. The Wilder 9U finished 3-2, and Wilder 11U was 0-3 for their tournament.
Swung on, crossed right field, hammered in the gap. Mesa back, he's at the track, makes a leap at the wall. It is gone, sail away, Randy Rosarena.
Randy Rosarena hit that 3-run homer. The Seattle Mariners overcame an early injury exit from Emerson Hancock. Went on to beat the Tampa Bay Rays 8-2 on Sunday, snapping a 5-game losing streak heading into the All-Star break. Seattle Seahawks announcing over the weekend a group led by the Khosla family, which includes venture capitalist and San Francisco 49ers minority owner Vinod Khosla, has agreed to purchase the franchise from the Paul Allen estate, selling price an NFL record $9.6 billion.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, step back into the days of the mountain men. Julie Hatch will join us to talk about the Peninsula Long Rifles annual rendezvous and the rich fur trade history of the Olympic Peninsula.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are under pressure. Worries coming in threes on Wall Street today, with investors concerned about chip makers, rising crude oil prices, and now worries about a possible interest rate hike later this month. Some positivity, though, around Apple. It's filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging it systemically stole its intellectual property by asking former Apple employees to bring information about unreleased products. OpenAI says it has no interest in other companies' trade secrets. It's possible the lawsuit could impact the pace of the release of OpenAI devices. Recall of Cuisinart grills sold at Lowe's and Walmart because tempered glass window in the pizza oven can shatter during use. And are you disputing more credit card charges lately? Growing number of us are asking for chargebacks as the tactic becomes the first line of defense as we deal with a growing number of online scams and aggressive pitches. We're also apparently disputing a growing number of legitimate transactions, causing extra workload and headaches for credit card companies. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
The Blind Store by McCrory is all about precision measuring, superior quality, and expert knowledge when it comes to your window covering investment. They're also keen on making sure that you save money and love what you buy. That's why, for a limited time, the Blind Store is offering 25% off window coverings throughout the store. Go from drab to not drab. You thought I was going to say fab, didn't you? With new blinds at 25% off from the Blind Store by McCrory in Sequim.
LS Tractor. Do more for less. More standard features, more capacity, and more operator comfort. LS Tractor gives you more. A comprehensive warranty and more PTO horsepower. Do more on your farm, ranch, or acreage. Mow it, grade it, till it, or move it. Stop by your local participating dealer and join the growing LS Tractor family today.
Find the perfect LS Tractor for you at Leitz Farm Supply in Sequim. Locally owned and operated. Call Leitz at 360-452-1400.
LS Tractor. Simply more.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Set up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center, and that's where Steve's standing by. Got an eye on the roads for us this Monday afternoon now. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Well, it's gotten a little bit on the busy side out there. If you are out and about in either Port Angeles or Sequim, you're going to find a fair amount of traffic right now making its way through town. Things are moving along pretty much the speed limit, but there are some slowdowns. Coming into town, pretty much most of the stoplights in town, you're getting a little bit of a lineup. Same thing, 5th and Lincoln, a lot of traffic up in that section of roadway. Same thing in our construction areas that leave Port Angeles. So just be aware of that. Those are the slowdown places. Once you're beyond that, though, 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim's in good shape. It's busy out there, but it is moving along at the speed limit. Beyond Sequim, Hood Canal Bridge, currently good to go. But they do have a 2 o'clock opening for marine traffic scheduled, so be aware of that. State ferries, though, are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, we're in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. There's a couple little construction areas towards Forks, PUD with putting up some power poles and things like that, mostly in the Forks area, but that is causing some slowdowns out there in 101 with single-lane traffic, so be very careful as you make your way through those areas. So everybody take care. Enjoy this nice afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Another update from you in about a half hour. Your weather forecast, sunny the rest of the day today. We'll hit the mid-70s. Clear tonight, lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Another sunny day for Tuesday with highs in the 70s. And sunny into Wednesday, too, into the 70s to low 80s. But then we start to see a bit of a change Thursday and Friday with clouds and some rain rolling in and highs cooling off down into the low to mid-70s. Right now across the North Peninsula, it is sunny just about everywhere. It's 64 in Port Townsend, 72 out west at Forks. Sequim now at 68, and out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles, it's now 66 degrees.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
We've all been there. In a boring meeting, a long lecture, struggling to stay awake. No matter how hard you try, you nod off, and that is never a good look. Aside from the obvious, making sure you're getting enough sleep, there are a couple quick pick-me-ups that experts recommend before you take your seat. If you have time, you might try to squeeze in a quick nap, just a couple minutes even. That can increase your alertness. Or try to pop outside for a quick walk get your blood and your hormones pumping, splash some cold water on your face or grab a cup of coffee, obviously. If you're not a caffeine drinker, even just taking small sips of water throughout your meeting could be enough to keep you awake. Of course, you could also make a point to engage in the meeting. You're not likely to fall asleep while you're actually talking. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. Just the other day, I heard one man say, the women in America are taking over. Is that true? I'll give you that answer after this important message.
Hello, Jerry Stewart here for Liberty Village. Let me talk about this 1776 village in Hurricane, Utah, and what they are doing for families. Liberty Village brings the past to life as visitors from all around the world are immersed in an American Revolutionary era village. Live actresses and actors portray the greatest figures in the founding history of the United States. Liberty Village is designed to inspire youth with a love for liberty and the American spirit of civic duty, freedom, individualism, and unity. Plan a tour. Reach out via phone or email, and the staff at Liberty Village will be happy to assist you. Go to libertyvillage.org or call 435-275-2850 now to make your family plans to visit this summer. A great way to help is to donate to Liberty Village or even volunteer your time to help change the way we learn history. See you there.
Are the women of America taking over? I say yes. Why? Because we men have failed at that job. We've deserted our God-given responsibilities to be the leaders of our families and our nation, and our failure has made us the laughing stocks of the world. And if you doubt me, then show me one successful television show on today that the man is not a sex-crazed, sports-fanatical, irresponsible moron. It may be funny on TV, but in real life, it's tragic. What must we men do? Throw down the TV remote, eliminate all distractions, and look at yourself. Do you have the character qualities of a leader? Find those qualities, apply them to your life, and lead. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Minister Yulia.
When caring for someone you love, it's important for you to take time to rest. At Dungeness Court Memory Care, our overnight respite care offers peace of mind in a safe, family-style setting. From overnight to several weeks, your loved one receives a dedicated caregiving staff, 24-hour on-site nursing, meals, and calming activities, with all-inclusive rates starting at $325 per night. No long-term commitment, just loving care when you need it most. Call Dungeness Court Memory Care at 360-582-9309 today.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
I am a radio commercial. You can't see me, but that doesn't mean we can't have a one-on-one conversation. I can be intimate. I can be bold. I can be used to tell you about a one-day-only sale! Or about why my family trusts a particular person or product. You and I can chat daily or sometimes just on the weekend, but we never stop communicating. I may make you laugh. I can make you ponder. And sometimes I can bring just a hint of a tear to your eye. You'll find me lots of places, your car, your home, inside a store, on the beach. Where you won't find me is in a landfill, wrapped around fish, or at the bottom of a birdcage. I'm a radio commercial, and I could be yours.
To open a dialogue between you and your customers, call us today, 360-457-1450. Local radio, local listeners, professional marketing. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Sequim.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Great sadness in Washington today with the death of Senator Lindsey Graham over the weekend, remembered fondly by colleagues on both sides of the aisle, including his political opponent, Democrat Chris Coons, who told ABC's This Week about their recent trip to Ukraine and other parts of Europe.
It is hard to lose him. Over dinner to celebrate his birthday in Ankara, we were talking about how unlikely it was that either of us would end up senators. His childhood was hard. He was orphaned at a young age, and he never imagined he'd be a United States senator. He was in a good mood, having just won his primary, and he was very focused on Ukraine. We had met with President Zelensky earlier that day, and it was a great meeting.
The 71-year-old South Carolina senator, Mr. Graham, died on Saturday night. Residents in some Philadelphia neighborhoods and surrounding counties cleaning up yesterday from widespread damage caused by a line of severe short thunderstorms that passed through. Ray Martin with the National Weather Service in that area says they're still digging out.
On Saturday, we had a particularly strong series of storms which developed along the western and southern portions of the city of Philadelphia. They were fairly localized and isolated, but the areas that got hit were, very urban areas of West and South Philadelphia, and there was pretty widespread tree damage and power disruption.
An IndyCar race coming to the nation's capital this summer.
It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch.
President Trump says the Freedom 250 Grand Prix is all part of his summer-long celebration honoring the country's birthday.
Happening as part of our great celebration of the 250th anniversary of American freedom. The American people are invited to come watch this once-in-a-lifetime total event.
The race will wind through the Capitol and around the National Mall on August 23rd. More from townhall.com.
Spring is here, and if you're staring at a home improvement project, wondering how you're going to pay for it, or looking at a big credit card bill piling up, I want you to know about my friends Mike and Brian and the team at Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, Mike and Brian have been helping families like yours tap into something they already have, equity in their own home. A HELOC, a cash-out refi, a debt consolidation loan to wipe out those high-interest credit cards. Whatever fits your situation, Fellowship Home Loans will build it around you. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. From your very first phone call to closing, you're going to get people who know your name and treat you like family. I know. I'm a customer. Right now, they're offering a free mortgage checkup, no pressure, just a real look at your options. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Graduation rates are soaring at Bureau of Indian Education schools.
The U.S. agency that oversees dozens of schools serving Native Americans is reporting more on-time high school graduations than ever. The Bureau of Indian Education says nearly 80% of high schoolers graduated within 4 years in 2025. That's up from only half a decade before. The Trump administration attributes that boost in part to a push to fix flawed data collection, though some educators at tribally controlled BIE schools credit their own innovations, like expanded virtual learning and career training options for students. I'm Savannah Peters.
Disney's live-action Mona is the top movie at the box office. Internationally, it earned $52 million for a global total of $95 million in its first weekend, but the movie did cost a reported $250 million to produce, so they still have some costs to recoup. Breaking news at townhall.com. Actor Sam Neill has died at age 78. He was a versatile performer who moved from art films to blockbusters like Jurassic Park and The Hunt for Red October. And he even said that he had a rare type of lymphoma back in 2023. His family said he was cancer-free, though, when he died. An unusual ejection in a WNBA game. More on that from Jason Walker.
Never let it be said women aren't fighters. Benicia Laney Hamilton was tossed from the New York Liberty's 93-91 loss to Toronto after she threw a shoe that hit opposing player Marina Mabry in the back. Laney Hamilton was actually trying to get the sneaker back to a teammate after it had fallen off. The errant toss ended up hitting Mabry, and after a review, the officials gave her a technical foul, her second of the game, for, quote, throwing a projectile on the court. Jason Walker reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, July 13th. Port of Port Angeles will resume direct management of the Port Angeles Boat Haven, Boatyard, and fuel operations starting this Wednesday. The port announced on Friday it has reached an agreement with Petrocard on the transition of the facilities. Under the existing contract, the port has the option to assume management with notice and says it made the business decision to bring operations back in-house. Officials say customers should notice little change during the transition. Marina services, boatyard operations, crane services, emergency response capabilities, and fuel sales are all expected to continue without interruption. The port and Petrocard say that they worked collaboratively to develop the transition plan, trying to maintain continuity of service while allowing each organization to focus on moving ahead. A 20-year-old Marysville man was killed. Another 20-year-old man from Forks was injured in a single-vehicle rollover crash on Highway 112 west of the Clallam River Saturday night. According to the State Patrol, the crash happened just before 8 p.m. on 112 near milepost 18. Troopers say a 1994 Ford Ranger was traveling westbound when the driver tried to pass another vehicle in the eastbound lane. The pickup then lost control, rolled over, came to rest on the westbound shoulder. The passenger, identified as Joseph Franklin, 20, of Marysville, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, Francisco Quineke Guerrero, also age 20, of Forks, was transported to Forks Community Hospital with injuries. State Patrol says neither occupant was wearing a seatbelt. Drugs and alcohol are not believed to have been factors in the crash. A Coast Guard helicopter crew out of Port Angeles rescued a 15-year-old boy Friday evening after he suffered a medical emergency at Shai Shai Beach in Olympic National Park. The Coast Guard says the National Park Service requested assistance about 5 p.m. for the teen experiencing severe abdominal pain and vomiting in that remote coastal area. The MH-65 Dolphin helicopter arrived about 6:45 p.m. where the crew completed a 110-foot hoist to safely lift the boy from the beach. The teen was flown to Air Station Port Angeles where emergency medical personnel took over, transporting him to Olympic Medical Center for more treatment. Now with a look at some other things that happened over the past few days, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
The weekend started out with enormous promise of it being a record breaker with 3 abandoned vehicles, a harassment, a DUI, 2 thefts, a burglary, and 2 auto crashes, and a bomb threat all in the first 8 hours. Fortunately, promises made are not always kept. Things became a lot more normal and more fun after that, with 2 weekend public car shows in Port Angeles and a private one in Sequim. Barbecues everywhere. And disturbingly, a lot of fireworks. Complaints started at 6:45 p.m. Friday for fireworks use along Forested Slab Camp Road and Highway 101 East and Craig Avenue. The final report came at 2:30 yesterday morning regarding fireworks use along Little River Road. Elsewhere, there were suicide attempts or threats 3:30 Friday afternoon, 9 o'clock that night, and 12:30 yesterday morning, all in or near Port Angeles. Last weekend, we were impressed by a record-breaking 7 abandoned vehicles. Well, now that record was broken this weekend with 9 abandoned. 1 in Forks, 2 in Sequim, 6 in Port Angeles. Another high number involved 5 known vehicle accidents, with the first one 9 o'clock Friday morning in the Ennis Creek Cutoff, followed by number 2 5 minutes later in Forks and number 3 in Sequim, 3:30 that afternoon. And then drivers had better luck for the next several hours. It was silent, but the silence was broken by a crash at 9 o'clock Saturday morning along Old Olympic Highway, followed by the final known weekend crash 4 hours later along East First Port Angeles. Disturbances included events regarding West Lordson Boulevard, East 1st, and Forks Avenue in Forks, plus a bomb threat at 8:32 Friday morning at the courthouse. That was handled using the usual efficient and safe procedures. Over the weekend, we were joined in watching gasoline prices here by hundreds of out-of-town visitors, many driving special cars that should be using ethanol-free gasoline. We found the highest gasoline prices in both Sequim and Port Angeles to be $5.80. The cheapest also in Sequim, about 40 cents a gallon less, but still far above the national average. And still in the high price bracket, ethanol-free gasoline has dropped fractionally to just a skosh under $7 a gallon. You'll need to bring your own champagne glass for dispensing. Sandy Keys, KONP Local News.
Need a new roof? Save big with Tri-State Roofing. For a limited time, mention promo code KONP50 and get 50% off new gutters with your new roof or 50% off a new skylight with your roof replacement. Protect your home with expert installation, quality materials, and a team you can trust. Financing available. Tri-State Roofing, 360-208-2222 and mention KONP50.
State Roofing, we got you covered.
Do you have a spare bedroom in your home and you'd like to earn extra income? That unused space could provide hundreds of dollars each month while helping someone in our community find affordable housing. Olympic Home Share is a local program that helps homeowners rent spare bedrooms to carefully screened renters for stays of a month or longer. The program uses Nesterly, a nationwide home sharing platform that matches homeowners with compatible renters. Every homeowner and renter is background checked. References are verified, and Nesterly provides all the tools and support to make home sharing simple and secure. You decide the rent, the length of stay, and the house rules. Rental incomes average between $500 to $1,000 per month, and some renters may help with chores like pet sitting, yard work, or other tasks in exchange for reduced rent. Olympic Home Share has already helped create several successful local matches, and your home could be next. For more information about becoming a host, visit Olympic Home Share at portangeles.org.
In other news, NOAA announced Friday the availability of a draft environmental assessment for the Olympic Coast Exploration Center, which is planned for the Port Angeles waterfront. The draft EA evaluates the potential environmental impacts of NOAA's proposed action to join Farrell Marine Life Center in its development of that facility. NOAA's requesting review and any comments on the draft EA through July 27th. The proposed action involves NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries providing partial funding for the construction of that 14,000 square foot exploration center. It's being constructed by the Farrell Marine Life Center. The facility will include public aquarium exhibits, classrooms, and a variety of North Pacific marine life. It'll be located near Field Hall in downtown. An investigation ordered by Governor Bob Ferguson into members of the State Fish and Wildlife Commission is taking longer and costing more than expected. Public records show the inquiries already cost nearly $80,000. It could reach $130,000 before wrapping up. The investigation began last summer after concerns were raised over commissioners' conduct surrounding a 2022 vote that would ban spring black bear hunting. An outside investigator submitted findings in April, but the governor's office says the report's still under review and now expects to release it by the end of this month. Ferguson has not commented publicly on the investigation. And Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is leading a lawsuit joined by 14 other states challenging the Trump administration's planned cuts to school-based mental health funding. The lawsuit seeks to block the end of a federal grant program created after the 2018 Parkland school shooting and expanded following the 2022 Uvalde tragedy. Washington officials say ending the grants would cost schools and universities more than $20 million. The coalition argues the cuts violate a federal court order and congressional intent. The U.S. Department of Education has not publicly responded to this latest lawsuit. This is News Radio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
If replacing your windows has been sitting on your to-do list, now is the time to check it off. Renewal by Andersen custom replacement windows are designed to improve energy efficiency, enhance curb appeal, and deliver lasting performance for years to come. That's exactly what Renewal by Andersen delivers. And right now is a great time to upgrade. For a limited time, with a minimum purchase of 4 units, Renewal by Andersen offers you 12 months with no money down, no interest, and no payments. That means you can enjoy the benefits of beautiful new windows now and delay payments for an entire year. No money down, no interest, no payments.
Visit ChooseRenewal.com to schedule your free consultation today or see us at this weekend's Lavender Festival in Sequim. Renewal by Andersen is proud to sponsor the Sequim Lavender Festival, happening July 17th, 18th, and 19th.
But hurry, 12 months free financing from Renewal by Andersen won't last long.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with highs around 68. North winds around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, lows level off around 52. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 72. Low 70s Wednesday and Thursday with a slight chance of rain Thursday. Looking at the long range, 71 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 77 on Sunday. To recap, high of 68 today, low of 52 tonight, a high of 72 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 62.
Robert Workman's take on sports is next.
Baseball is at the midseason break after Sunday's action. The Red Sox won their 9th game in a row, nipping the Mets 3-2 in 10 innings to wrap up a 9-0 road trip for interim manager Chad Tracy.
You start the road trip, the mindset's like, let's try to go win 3 series, and at least put ourselves within a couple of games or a few games if we can. That's the mindset, and we won all 9, so I'm so proud of them.
White Sox scored 6 times in the first inning and handed the A's their 9th consecutive loss, 9-1. Pirates hung up a 10 spot in the 4th and barreled over the Brewers 14-5. Philly shut out the Tigers 5-0. Zach Wheeler in the hubcaps with a 2-hitter. He struck out 10. Mariners snapped a 5-game slide with a win over the Rays. Rangers shaded the Astros on Brandon Nimmo's walk-off RBI single. Cubs clubbed the Reds. Alex Bregman with the big stick, a homer and 4 RBI. Diamondbacks completed a sweep of the first-place Dodgers in L.A. despite a leadoff homer from Shohei Ohtani, his 9th this year. Ohtani will be skipping the All-Star game to have his left knee drained. Yankees upended the Nationals. New York trailed in each game of the series after 7 innings and came back to win all 3. Victories for the Guardians, Orioles, Twins, Braves, Giants, and Padres. And so the All-Star break is upon us with the game tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Hometown ace Christopher Sanchez starts for the NL, while Toronto's Dylan Cease gets the AL honors. The amateur draft was held Saturday and Sunday. The White Sox took UCLA shortstop Rock Kalowski, number 1 overall, and the Dodgers selected Illinois pitcher Zach Bates with the 613th and final pick. Tonight, it's the Home Run Derby. Wimbledon Men's Championship on Sunday. Top seed Yannick Sinner defeated number 2 Alex Zverev in 4 sets for his 2nd straight Wimbledon crown and 5th Grand Slam title in all. Saturday's women's title match went to Linda Noskova. That makes her the 10th different women's champion since 2016. That's Monday Sports.
Home affordability. Yes, it does exist here on the peninsula with Mountain View Homes. Looking for a quality craftsmanship home at 40% less than stick-built? Call Mountain View Homes. We specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey, quality, beautiful, and an efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Mountain View Homes has 3 locations to serve you, including Carlsberg. Visit mtviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, step back into the days of the mountain men. Julie Hatch will join us to talk about the Peninsula Long Rifles annual rendezvous and the rich fur trade history of the Olympic Peninsula.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy Farmers Insurance.
In a world where prices keep climbing and uncertainty seems to change by the hour, local businesses are carrying a lot. And here at KONP, we see that.
For more than 80 years, KONP has been part of this community. We've celebrated your grand openings, shared your stories, and helped local businesses connect with local people. Because when our businesses succeed, our community shines a little brighter. Marketing shouldn't feel overwhelming. It should feel like having a trusted partner in your corner. That's where we come in. Whether your budget is big, small, or somewhere in between, we can create a marketing plan built around your goals, your customers, and your needs, reaching your customers immediately, right here at home. Don't go it alone. Let's sit down, get creative, and grow together. KONP Radio. Proudly serving our community and the businesses that keep it moving. Call us at 360-457-1450 and let's partner up.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Worry about chip makers and rising crude oil prices weighing on Wall Street today, and also investors concerned about possible rising interest rates. Fed Governor Chris Waller says policymakers may need to raise interest rates in the near term if underlying inflation continues to signal broad price pressures. Apple has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging OpenAI systemically stole its intellectual property by asking former Apple employees to bring information about unreleased products. OpenAI, though, says it has no interest in other companies' trade secrets and will remain focused on building innovative technology. And Delta's CEO says he thinks travelers care more about their seat price than extras like lounge access or limo shuttles. And Ed Bastian says that's why Delta is offering passengers the same onboard seats, meals, and service, but at a lower price in exchange for fewer benefits, meaning reduced mileage earnings or a lower checked bag allowance. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Last check of the noontime traffic is next. It's brought to you by Angelus Furniture and by Olympic Medical Center.
What's as beautiful as a sunny summer day? A summer sale big enough to make you step inside Angelus Furniture for their huge Beauty Rest sale. Right now, you'll find the Beauty Rest Level 1 Medium Tight Top Queen Mattress for only $679. Step it up a notch to the Level 2 Medium Tight Top or Extra Firm Top Mattress for just $949. These deals aren't all they have in store either. Get the refreshing sleep you deserve today on your brand new Beauty Rest, only at Angelus Furniture.
Hi, I'm Mitzi Hazard, Director of Rehabilitation Services at Olympic Medical Center. If aching feet are affecting your daily life or your balance, join me for a free presentation on Thursday, July 16th at 10:30 a.m. at our Medical Services Building on 5th Avenue in Sunny Squim. We'll cover common causes of foot pain, why your footwear matters for stability, and how to properly test drive shoes before you buy them. Save the date and learn more at olympicmedical.org/events.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go again. That's where Steve's got an eye on things for us on the roads this noon hour. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy afternoon out there if you are out on the drive today. Both Port Angeles and Sequim, pretty steady traffic making its way through town, so just be prepared. A few slowdowns in the busier areas, downtown, Washington Street, Sequim Avenue, those areas, so just be aware of that. If you're on Highway 101 between the two cities, you should be in good shape. It is busy out there, especially leaving the Port Angeles area, but traffic is moving along at the speed limit. Beyond Sequim, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings until 2 o'clock. And then they have one marine opening happening at that time, so be aware of that. State ferries, though, are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, oh boy. Right now, the state is painting the highway. They're putting their stripes out and practicing their straight lines, and that is causing quite a slowdown. Right now, they're between Lord's Corner and the Port Angeles city limits, headed eastbound, but long line of traffic behind them, so just be aware of that if you're headed out to the west end today. So everybody take care, be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thanks, Steve. Your weather forecast, sunshine today, mid-70s for the highs, clear tonight, lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s, sunny again tomorrow, will be in the mid-70s, and sunny into Wednesday with mid to upper 70s, maybe the low 80s late in the afternoon on Wednesday. Right now across the peninsula, Port Townsend 65, 74 now out west at Forks. It's 69 in Sequim, and it's 66 degrees out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
It was a weekend of family films in movie theaters. Moana
Moana made $43 million in ticket sales this weekend, below what analysts had forecast for the film's debut. The live-action remake of that family film comes just 10 years after the original animated version debuted, and just 2 years after Moana 2 hit theaters. Minions and Monsters came in at number 2, collecting $20.5 million.
It's good to be back.
And Toy Story 5 raked in $18.5 million, enough for third place at the box office. Meanwhile, the Michael Jackson biopic Michael has now officially grossed more than $1 billion at the global box office. It marks the first biopic to ever pass that milestone.
I love you.
I know.
And happy 84th birthday to Harrison Ford today.
Well, are men better drivers? A University of Michigan study of 6.5 million two-car collisions found that crashes in which both drivers were women were more common than those in where both drivers were men. So maybe men are better drivers, but it appears women are much smarter investors. The study found that women investors tend to make a lot more. 35% of women held an investment too long, compared with 47% of men. And another study found women made at least 1% more annually with their investments than the guys do.
This news grabbed my attention. OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, announced a mysterious new AI product that will have no screen. It's being designed by Apple's longtime chief designer, Johnny Ive. He designed the iPhone, the iPad, and a lot more. I'm excited and anxious to see whatever this thing is, but I'm afraid it may have a problem right out of the box. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. AI isn't the future, it's here. For the first time ever, you can try NetSuite Next for free. If your revenues are over 7 figures, visit netsuite.ai/Kim. The problem, of course, is what I mentioned. It's not going to have a screen, not even a tiny one. And we do love our screens. Every device we have these days has some kind of screen. You could say we're about 100% screen dependent. Of course, this new AI product, whatever it may be, could prove me wrong, and I hope it does. But looking through the lens of the world of today's technology, I don't believe it will. Hey, why don't you go ahead and sign up for my free 5-star rated newsletter right now at getkim.com. Every business owner I talk to is asking the same question. How do I make AI work for my business? My answer, don't wait. Your competitors are already using AI to work smarter, move faster, and make better decisions. In fact, there's a saying that every day your business is late to AI, you fall 2 days behind. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 AI-powered cloud ERP trusted by more than 43,000 businesses. It brings your financials, your inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM together in one system. And when everything is connected in one place, AI has the information it needs to help you make smarter decisions. So instead of relying on guesswork, you're working from real-time data across your business. How do I know? We're implementing NetSuite at my own business right now, and I can already see the impact it's having on how we operate. For the first time ever, you can try NetSuite Next for free. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, go to netsuite.ai/Kim. It's built for every industry, ready for every boardroom. netsuite.ai/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, does anybody work on Fridays anymore? The answer is increasingly no, and I'll share new research on why Fridays off is a win-win for workers and employers. Next, in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees, when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Data from the Society for Human Resource Management shows a record 1 out of 3 companies now have compressed work weeks, working full-time Monday through Thursday and then taking Friday off. The trend blew up during the pandemic when a lot of people were overwhelmed with stress. And rather than risk having workers quit, many companies began offering all Fridays off to help workers recharge. But even with Fridays off, productivity isn't suffering. A study of 4-day work weeks at Microsoft found that productivity in services stayed the same or improved. It's because working fewer hours reduces employee stress and burnout, and does improve well-being because people feel they have more control over their lives. Another bonus, many restaurants, salons, and gyms have been reporting an increase in business on Friday mornings and afternoons, long before the traditional workday is over.
It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
Hi, May Graves here with Sequim Real Estate Market Pros.
Have you ever thought about listing your home for sale yourself? There might be some advantages on the surface, like paying less in professional fees, but the data tells us there's really no advantage. Your neighbors who list their home with an agent typically sell for $60,000 more than someone selling by owner. Homes that are listed for sale by owner are also under-marketed. Typically, no professional pictures, the remarks are under par, and the data is not strong. Plus, they are not reaching a large audience. If you're thinking about listing your home, talk to the Real Estate Market Pros. We'll give you all the advice and help you get your home on the market and sold. Reach out to May Graves at Real Estate Market Pros.
The North Olympic Peninsula's news station. News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim. AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The memo of understanding now officially over between the U.S. and Iran. The White House formalized its re-engagement in the war in Iran, notifying Congress last week, July 10th, of renewed military action. That according to a copy of the notice obtained by ABC News. President Trump says the U.S. will reinstate the naval blockade against Iranian ships and ports, and in a social media post says the U.S. should charge a 20% toll. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
The president in that post does not explain how this is going to work in terms of charging tolls or why the U.S. has a right to do this in an international waterway that he himself has said multiple times should be free for commercial travel. Notably, the Iranians have also said that they should charge for shipping that goes through there, that they would be able to protect the cargo ships that are going through this area and then get paid for it. The president has pushed back very strongly on this.
Senate lawmakers returning today following the sudden death this weekend of Senator Lindsey Graham. Preliminary findings from the medical examiner shared by the 71-year-old's office shows Graham died from a tear in his aorta stemming from heart disease. Longtime colleague Chuck Grassley on the floor.
Senator Graham deeply loved his country. He was a bold leader.
Graham's desk in the Senate now draped in a black shroud with a vase of white flowers on top. In Biddeford, Maine, today, north of Kennebunkport, according to multiple sources, federal immigration authorities were involved in a fatal shooting. ABC's Olivia Rubin has details.
We know very little. All sources have told us is that federal immigration officials were involved in a shooting and describing it as sort of dynamic and still unfolding. Specifically, the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI have not responded to multiple requests for comments on this. A Maine official did say that it was involved with ICE and that a person was killed there.
Maine Senator Angus King says the man who was shot was the target of the operation. You're listening to ABC News.
Look who has extra pep in their step.
Well, I just finished my to-do list. Gas tank is full, tonight's dinner plans are set, grocery shopping is complete, and I even got everything for those barbecues and pool parties we have planned. You know what's even better?
What?
Every one of those stops gets me a bit of money back.
How are you doing that?
By using Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app where I earn cash back on gas, groceries, and dining out. They even gave me a cashback bonus on my first grocery trip.
So that extra pep comes from all that cash back. Looks like I need to download Upside.
You really do.
Earn cash back on errands and everyday essentials. Download Upside and use promo code BIG5 to earn an extra $5 cash back on your first purchase at one of over 100,000 available locations. That's promo code BIG5 for an extra $5 cash back. Remember, use promo code BIG5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Children ages 8 to 12 spend over 5 hours on their screens every day, that according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. But lawmakers in several states have struck upon a possible solution, requiring more playtime at school.
Quite literally by requiring 40 minutes of recess time compared to the previous 20. Norman, Oklahoma Assistant School Superintendent Holly McKinney has had to get creative.
We've taken parts of those times and integrated literacy into it, which freed up a few minutes for us to be able to do that second recess.
Other Oklahoma districts have added hours to the school day or days to the academic calendar. State lawmakers in Ohio and New York are considering similar mandates. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Fans are remembering actor Sam Neill following his death. His family did not state the cause, but earlier this year, Neill revealed he was cancer-free after undergoing groundbreaking treatment following a years-long battle with blood cancer. Neill became a worldwide star for his roles in The Hunt for Red October, The Piano, and Jurassic Park.
To millions, he was Dr. Alan Grant.
It's a dinosaur.
The reluctant hero of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, propelling him to superstardom, which he talked about right here on Good Morning America in 1993.
It's kind of a monster, isn't it? People seem to be very nice to me. That's kind of good. And people come up and make dinosaur noises to me when I'm standing in the checkout line.
Sam Neill was 78. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
As each season changes, one thing stays the same. Airport Garden Center is always here to help your yard and garden grow. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operation continues with Mark and Betsy Matthews passionately managing the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service, products, and expert advice for a fun, rewarding, pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. We love helping you plan next season by offering monthly special savings too. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials and seasonal classes and events, or just stop on by our spacious indoor-outdoor garden center on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles to chat with the experts. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. The Port of Port Angeles will resume direct management of the Port Angeles Boat Haven, the boat yard, and fuel dock starting this Wednesday. Port officials say services will continue without interruption as operations transition from Petrocard back to the port. That after the port terminated the contract with Petrocard. A 20-year-old Marysville man was killed. A 20-year-old Forks man was injured in a rollover crash Saturday night on Highway 112 near Clallam Bay. State Patrol says the pickup lost control while trying to pass another vehicle. Neither occupant was wearing a seatbelt. The crash still under investigation.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Highs level off around 68 this afternoon under mainly clear skies. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, 52. High of 73 tomorrow. Temps above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the low 70s to the mid 70s. Slight chance of rain Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 71 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 77 on Sunday. Another look at the short range, high of 68 today. We should dip down to around 52 tonight. Highs reach 73 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 62.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. In our first segment today, we're going to do a little living history. We've talked about this in the past, and it's great to chat again about the annual Rendezvous, which is sponsored by the Peninsula Long Rifles here locally. We'll tell you all about it. You don't have to be a member of the Long Rifles Association or any of that to do this. This is an open to the public event, and it really is kind of a neat way to embrace the old-time mountain man fur trading days of old here on the North Olympic Peninsula. We have a couple of folks that are very much involved with this. Julie Hatch is back. Julie has always been on to talk about this. Hi, Julie.
Hi,
good to see you again.
Todd. Thanks.
And you brought along Jack Hutto as well, who's a member of the Long Rifles. Jack, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Hi.
And Julie, let's just first of all, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
And what is a rendezvous?
The rendezvous back in the day was when the trappers would come in with all the furs they'd been trapping all winter long, and they would either meet up with, sometimes it was run by the natives, the local natives, and then the Hudson Bay Company came in, so they'd bring all their furs in and have a big gathering where they would sell their furs, buy supplies for the coming season, and basically have a big kind of a party.
Right. Yeah, because these would go on for days,
it
right?
would go on for days, yes.
Yeah. Hence why yours is going on for a couple of days.
Yes, ours is a couple of days, yeah.
We should point out, this is not this weekend. It's on July 23rd through the 26th.
Correct.
Tell us where.
It's at the Peninsula Long Rifles as a local club out of Port Angeles and Sequim. We've got members from a little further afield than that, but we own 20 acres up off Slab Camp Road, and anybody that shoots guns goes up there to the big gravel pits, and they would know where it is. But we have a beautiful 20 acres with rifle trail in the woods and pistol trail, and then we have Jack's favorite, knife and hawk.
Okay. We'll talk with Jack
And
about that in a minute.
primitive archery.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just have a great time up there.
And I know you have it set up. It's very authentic when people come up there, right?
Yeah, half of the property is set up where they can be modern camping or what we call tin teepees. They'll bring motorhomes or nylon tents. And then the other half of the property is primitive camping, which is where there's nothing modern showing. We're in canvas tents and wool blankets and cooking on a fire if we have no burn ban.
I guess that is kind of an issue.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's a little challenging, but we don't have any of our modern stuff. If we have to cook on propane, we have it hidden and covered away.
So you, you do as best you can.
We do the best we can.
Yeah. All right. Should point out that both Jack and Julie are wearing kind of some traditional garb today as to what you might be wearing at the rendezvous.
Yes,
right?
This would be what I would wear.
Describe what you have on for people, since this is radio; they can't see it.
Trade beads, which are what they would trade with the natives for supplies or blankets or whatever they needed. So those are very, very popular and some very expensive. I have my little knife and my own knife and fork. You would carry your own knife and fork with you, my utensils. And then I have in the back I have my little pouch that you can carry a bunch of different things. I've got my powder horn with no powder in it. I was a good girl. And then my primitive archery, which is one of my favorite things to do. I like primitive archery.
See, I've learned something more about you too. Yeah. You do the primitive and when we talk primitive archery, this is the traditional bow and arrow stuff. This isn't compound bows and things like that.
No.
Yeah. And do you make your own arrows and things like that?
I personally don't. My husband has done a little bit of it. Yeah. The guys usually do a lot of that kind of stuff.
And that's kind of what happens at this rendezvous, right? If somebody were to come, they could actually see somebody who's crafted some of these things, too.
We have a member that's a blacksmith, so he has a lot of cooking and utensils that you would have used back in the day, but they also make other things that are necessary.
Blacksmith. Yeah, right. Yeah. Does he do actual work up there at the rendezvous, or you? Yeah, so there's going to be an anvil operating, some things like that. I mean, it's okay. So, Jack, you are into. Tell us a little bit about what kind of your expertise is, because this is kind of not. We've got a number of different things that are happening up there, but let's talk a bit about yours.
First, I got into the shooting, but the rendezvous, there's more than just shooting. There's the knives and hawk throwing and the bows and the arrows, that stuff, and. I got into recently. I just got into making my own bows.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I'm any good with them, but
but you started doing it.
I started making them. Yes.
How do you make a bow for this to be traditional?
You find a limb. Last one I was just a tree limb, and that's what I used.
And that's the goal of this, right? Is you have to do this as if you were back in the day. That would be how they would make a bow, perhaps.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I used a little bit more modern technology, I guess, when cutting down that kind of things. But
But the material is similar.
But the material, I use artificial sinew for the bowstring. Make my own strings. Make my own arrows. That gets a little tricky, but
how do you make the strings? What do you guys make the strings?
It's just artificial sinew. And sinew is, like off an animal.
Yeah.
Okay. You can buy it in rolls.
The tendons, they shred really thin.
You can buy it, and it's just, they call it artificial sinew.
This is fascinating. Someone coming up there, you could actually see some of this stuff in action. And
the rendezvous is really busy. We start, I'm going to start setting up later this week. We have a huge tent. And we deck it all out, and it looks real cool. And we've got another couple that come. They have a teepee, and there's a lot of primitive tents up there. Sorry, I forgot. My train of thought went somewhere else there for a second.
Well, I want to ask about
the whole. I lost it. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. We're going to get back to the schedule in a moment, but I wanted to ask Jack about it. So you do some knife throwing, is that right?
Correct.
So tell us about that.
Knives and hawks.
Okay.
Tomahawks.
Yeah.
They just have a course, it's kind of like playing golf, I guess. You got a course. We normally got 15 targets on each trail. And they're set at different distances.
So you take along a trail and you stop. So I guess if you're familiar with biathlon, it's not shooting, but you'd stop and throw.
Yeah. They
Correct.
have
Correct.
big log rounds, and they'll have colored markers, and there'll be a sign that says that this target you have to hit the red or the green, or you have to throw it underhand instead of overhand, or
So, Jack, how long have you been in throwing?
Oh, I've been a member for over 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you? Are you pretty accurate? You
I
do
used
all
to
right?
be, I used to be better. My grandson used to be into it a lot, and there used to be a lot of competition there, you know. And yeah, but I hold my own. I normally come in first, or second, or third.
I bring it up because anybody who goes to like a carnival or something like that, or where they have the axe throwing thing, and they think this is easy.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's really difficult.
There are people that are naturals at it. I've seen that. They just walk up there, and it's like, I've never done this before in my life, and they do it, you know.
So, Julie, for those who are not shooters or axe throwers or anything like that, this still is welcome time, right?
Yeah. So during the rendezvous, we have a road called Traders Row, and that's where the traders will set up and have wares that are period correct, shooting supplies, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 different folks that set up as traders. So for somebody coming up that just wanted to kind of take a look at what goes on, Saturday probably is the best day.
Okay.
We do a kids activity in the afternoon, and we do kind of traditional games and a big hay scramble. Jack is famous. He has a cannon, and he does a candy cannon, so he shoots candy out of the cannon, which the kids love that. But to walk around, the people are sat, especially the traders, there's more traders that are available. But people, if they come up for the week on a Saturday, I always tell them, don't be afraid, just walk around, go into the primitive camps, because that's what's fun, is walking through and looking at the primitive camps.
And that's okay to do.
It's okay to
this
do.
is set up for people to take a little tour.
If somebody is at their camp, we usually have somebody in ours because we've got a big setup, we'll invite them to come in and look in, because we have one room that's like a bedroom, and they can see all the little nitty-gritty details that go into it. But if nobody's in camp, then you wouldn't go into somebody's tent. So that's the only thing we ask.
We talk about the nitty-gritty parts as well. I mean, what do you bring along to set up a primitive campsite?
Even the kitchen sink.
Yeah, literally. So
literally.
So you have amassed a collection of things that are traditional.
The wooden the chairs that fold up in themselves, the bed, the wedding we've got. Over the years, we've been able to collect some Hudson Bay blankets and Whitney blankets, the wool blankets with the points on them, which is really cool to be able to put those on your bed and show those off. And we trade those. We used to give a blanket as a prize for the best shooter overall.
Yeah.
And so we do give prizes. It is a competition. We start Thursday, and we can start shooting. The members of the club shoot Thursday, but you can shoot Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I think Saturday is where we have to have all our scores turned in.
Got it.
So.
If somebody were into muzzle loading but had never done it before, could you guys? Are you available to show people how this works at this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a 101 muzzleloader.
Okay.
We offer that.
So people have an interest in this kind of historic type of firearms or axe throwing, I guess, in that sense too. You can get some lessons, or at least get some almost hands-on then.
We've only done it once, and unfortunately the people couldn't show. We gave a mountain man, woman, child for a day on the Saturday, where we offered it as an auction item to raise funds for a local nonprofit. And they would come up, we'd deck them out in their clothing, take them on the trails, do the 101 black powder with them, feed them. You were talking about what else would they do. I mean, the ladies will cook in their cast iron and
Okay. We're going to see that at the rendezvous too then.
It depends on whether there's a fire ban.
Right, whether you can actually do the cooking or not.
Yeah.
So that was my next question. What about food at this event? Is there going to be food? So maybe not.
We don't typically have a ton. It's not like an event downtown.
Right.
So we don't have lots and lots of people. So we have in the past had a vendor up there that would do like hot dogs and drinks, just something. But it hasn't proved very profitable for
Yeah.
them. So it's very hard because there's no power, there's no running water.
This is
we're
primitive stuff. This is intentional, right?
You pack it in, you pack it out.
I'm sorry, going to a traditional rendezvous in a hot dog stand there just doesn't quite seem like it should probably be that way anyway.
Right.
There is a Saturday night dinner.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Go ahead.
Well, Saturday night they have steak dinners. Now you can get hamburgers. Used to be just
Okay.
steak dinner, but now you can get steaks or hamburgers. It's not too expensive. You got to do all your own cooking and bring your own utensils.
It's $20,
Okay.
and I think if somebody came up and wanted to stay for that, there's usually some food that we have left over,
Yeah.
so somebody could pay and stay.
Okay.
But you do cook it on open. Typically, have a big barbecue
Like a
pit
big pit, yeah,
that you
right.
cook it, or you can take it back to your own camp and cook it. Everybody up there is friendly, so if you showed up and you didn't have utensils, somebody would loan you.
Well, you'd
plates
get
and
yours out
I'd
from
take
your
mine,
belt
right?
there
Yeah,
that you have
absolutely.
and say, here, you can
So
borrow these.
we want to encourage, that's why we're on the radio, we want to encourage people to know we're there and to come up and
Yeah.
check it out.
What a great way to kind of just immerse yourself into what this place was kind of like way back
Yeah.
when, right?
Yeah.
It's so how long have you, Julie, been involved with all of this?
I've been involved about 13 years. I
Okay. Yeah.
started going, I had a couple of customers at the bank when I worked.
That's
that
my next
invited-
question. You
that
just
invited
fell into
me.
it, huh?
And we got up there, and then my husband's known Jack since they were in
Grade
school. So we just hit it off.
It just made
Yeah.
sense, yeah. Right.
We took, and this is true of Jack too. My granddaughter, we started taking her when she was 5. When she was 6, she won her first 50 caliber black powder rifle, which she still shoots today. She won first place in the women's last year, borrowing my black powder pistol, and Jack's grandkids have been going longer because he's been in the club longer.
My grandsons, he started when he was like 4, but I think that was more me than him.
Yeah, right.
And there's no reception up there, so for kids it's awesome. There's no internet, although the
Yeah.
Starlink stuff is coming in a little bit.
But still, it's not the same. They can't
the
get on
kids
their
are out
phone and
playing
just
in the
yeah,
woods
that's
and
right.
just having fun.
Yeah, kind of the way it
Yeah.
maybe needs to be more often.
Yeah.
The old touch grass thing. Yeah.
I was just going to say our club started in April of 1970, so it's 56 years old.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. And you've done this rendezvous how many years?
This is
Roughly.
what, 51 or 2 this year.
Okay, so this has been a going concern, and I know I didn't know this thing was going on until Julie, you came on a few years ago and talked about this, and
Yeah.
I thought I had no clue this was happening.
Yeah.
So
Then when I came on before, the rendezvous is run by 2 people primarily. As a bushway, that's the person totally in charge, and that's what I was doing when I was on the radio before. And then they have a segundo, which is the second in command if something were to happen. And they assign dog soldiers, which are people that will go out and make sure everybody's kind of behaving. There's rules you have to follow, and it's strictly black powder. There's no modern firearms up there ever, anytime. So yeah, it's a big job.
yeah,
and we
no
have
kidding.
people from different clubs.
That's
come.
what I was going to say. You bring in folks come from. It's not just your club up
Correct,
there. That's
yeah.
part of this. Is this brings in a lot of people from other parts
Right,
of the area, right?
Yeah, over the years we've had 200 folks up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of
It's really dying down.
it's
but,
gone down.
Yeah.
People age, but we've just acquired 4 or 5 younger families that have started, and they're just going gung ho, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the general public, sounds like Saturday's the best day to get up there. Maybe
The 25th.
on the 25th. Time of day.
We start every morning at 8:45 with a shooters meeting. So we set the rules for everybody. So, and then the trading post, which is where people would register when they come in, because you have to sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Is open at 10. So I would say 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Saturday on the 25th. So come up and enjoy. What'll be? It's in a and it's a beautiful spot up there too as well.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's we've been up there. We have a work party this weekend just to put the finishing mowing and touches on it. And
All right.
not that it would have been mowed back then, but
Well, there's a few things you have to do modernly, I guess.
Absolutely.
Still, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Julie, great to see you again. Thanks
You
for coming
too.
in. Good luck with the rendezvous next weekend. And Jack Hutto, thank you as well.
Nice to meet
Thanks
you,
for coming in. Nice to have you here. That's Julie Hatch, Jack Hutto. They're both very much involved with the Peninsula Long Rifles and talking about their annual rendezvous. It's up Slab Camp Road. And you do have signs up usually, don't you, for this thing? So people start heading that way, they can follow it.
From 101 at the bottom of Taylor Cutoff, there'll be a mountain man cut out and signs up there.
I should have pointed that out earlier, so you can get directed to where it is. But it should be a lot of fun on the 23rd through the 27th. PeninsulaLongRifles.org. You've got info there. People can get maps and everything else on that website, too. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Have you ever clicked get a quote online and suddenly your phone acts like it owes someone money? 20 calls a day, numbers you've never seen, and not one of them local? I'm Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. If you're tired of mystery callers trying to sell you insurance, try something different. Talk directly to a real local agent who actually lives here. No robocalls, no strangers. We are real people helping real people right here at home.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Are you thinking about new windows for your home? Tri-State Roofing and Windows has been installing residential roofing and replacement windows for 19 years now. We carry beautiful and energy-efficient Pella replacement windows. Make your life brighter with Pella windows. Available in wood, fiberglass, or traditional vinyl frames. Call today for your free estimate and get Tri-State's best prices of the year. 360-208-2222.
We got you covered.
This is Kevin Murphy with Radio Pacific. We've teamed up with Clallam County Emergency Management and the Port of Port Angeles to help keep you safe in the event of an emergency. With me is CERT First Responder Mac McDonald. Mac, I understand you're here to give a compliment.
That's right. Our residents deserve kudos for being so aware about the risks and dangers of earthquakes or tsunamis that may hit our area. You are learning what to do if the Cascadia subduction zone decided to uncork. You've learned where your tsunami escape route is. You know what to pack into your emergency to-go backpack, and you have one ready. You've done all this and so much more so that you'll be prepared in the event of a natural disaster. So congratulations to all of you for not being complacent.
Well, Mac, we are all working together to keep our residents safe. Search online, CERT Clallam County, for preparation resources.
Don't be scared, just be prepared.
Todd Ortloff now with a word for Olympic Peninsula title. They don't just have customers, they have raving fans. Yeah, for over 40 years, they've been earning the repeat business of their customers by treating them with respect, delivering what they promise, prioritizing the security of customers' funds and information, and always providing service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title and see for yourself why they've earned over 500 five-star reviews, and they've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Like many communities, we have a real need to address the challenge of the unsheltered and public spaces that need to be cleaned up. 4PA is the local nonprofit powered by a dedicated group of volunteers focused on the cleanup of Port Angeles. Their new facility, called the Touchstone Campus, is an all-in-one operations center, a 1/2-acre green space for temporary housing shelters, 24-hour access to bathroom, shower, laundry, and kitchen. Also planned retail and manufacturing businesses to provide training and work. The goal is to learn life skills to help individuals to transition into self-sustainability. If you'd like to learn more, volunteer, or support 4PA efforts, go to 4pa.org.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Happening now in the Senate, lawmakers are honoring Senator Lindsey Graham. The 71-year-old died suddenly last weekend. A vase full of white roses adorning his desk. Senator John Thune on the floor says Graham's impact in Congress will not soon be forgotten and called him a force for good.
It's difficult to believe that
Lindsey Graham is no longer here with us, that we won't run into him at a media day or share a joke with him at this afternoon's vote. The halls of the Senate already feel empty without him.
Preliminary findings from the medical examiner shared by Graham's office show that he died from a tear in his aorta stemming from heart disease. The White House has formalized its re-engagement in the war in Iran, notifying Congress on July 10th last week of renewed military action. That according to a copy of the notice obtained by ABC News. The White House makes a point of saying that ground forces will not be used in this operation. On Wall Street, stocks are trading lower. This is ABC News.
For about 3 decades now, the death of Kurt Cobain has been filed away, in the public at least, as an open shut suicide. But a new independent forensic report is reopening one of the most controversial celebrity deaths in modern history, raising some questions that authorities appear unwilling to revisit. If true, the intelligence community and federal law enforcement, well, they may come under some more scrutiny as well. And an expert on all things related to celebrities and deaths with celebrities is my guest in the first half of the show today. Podcast talk radio veteran Richard Serrett joins us. You've probably heard him on our air on Coast to Coast AM many times with our overnight program, and he's joining us this afternoon. Talk a little bit about the latest with Kurt Cobain and this suicide in quotes, and Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone, which is a new book that he has out as well. So, Richard, good to have you on.
Hey, Todd, what a pleasure. Thank you.
And let's just go right to it. Of course, we're here in the Pacific Northwest. Kurt Cobain, a music icon out here in some ways, and people still, I think, reel from that. The death of grunge, if you will, was when we discovered about this suicide of Kurt Cobain some 30 years ago. But you're saying not so fast. What are you hearing about this latest that has come out about this may not have been a suicide?
You're right. The book is actually quite timely. And I should point out that the book, Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone, is based on a podcast called The Rock and Roll Twilight Zone that I did way back in 2018, kind of a co-production with Chris Jericho, former WWF star, who had a podcast network. So in 2018, we were talking about this. And then in February of this year, in the Daily Mail, it was reported that this independent forensic research team had, I guess, petitioned Kings County, the medical office there, to reopen the case, or the police department to reopen the case, that it wasn't just this straightforward suicide, as the official narrative proclaims, that they had evidence to suggest otherwise. Now, as far as I know, King County has said, no, we're not reopening the case. But all of the points that were raised by this forensic team really sort of mirror the points that were brought up in the chapter in the book, which is called The Needle, the Barrel, and the Lies. Of course, the needle referring to the heroin that Kurt allegedly injected into his blood. The barrel referring to the shotgun, which was supposedly the implement of his demise. He supposedly turned the shotgun around, long barrel and all, placed it in his mouth, and, not to get too graphic, but I think you can imagine the rest. There's also the question of the time of death, which has never been firmly established. People just assume that April 5th, 1994, that was the gospel. Well, at the time, they couldn't even definitively point to April 5th. They said it could be 24 hours before or 24 hours after. That's pretty loosey-goosey when you're talking about a timeline and a time of death. Now, I've watched enough police procedurals on TV. The timeline or the time of death can usually be established pretty close, within maybe a couple of hours, but not 24 hours either way. So that's just one of many, many, many questions. There was a rush to judgment, I think, here clearly.
So, the big question then is why? Who'd want Kurt Cobain dead if it turned out that this was really a staged suicide, if this is what, some of this is pointing to?
Well, again, I want to be, I always make sure I say this up front. These are just allegations. They've never been proven in court. And this individual I'm going to name has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. So again, they're just allegations. However, a number of things we can point to. Number one, according to Rosemary Carroll, who was Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's family lawyer, Kurt was in the process of changing his will, which meant that all of the money, all of the royalties, which now, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, Kurt Cobain is regularly listed as one of the highest grossing dead celebrities of all time, right up there with Michael Jackson and so forth. All of that money would have been directed to his daughter, Frances Bean. Courtney Love would not have received a red cent if this is in fact the case. But it was not signed. The will was was in the process of being changed, again, according to Rosemary Carroll, the lawyer, but Kurt did not sign it at the time of his death. So there's that. Then there is the question of the suicide note, which we can get into if you'd like.
Sure, let's talk about that because that's controversial in itself.
Yes, so we're talking about a note that police found stabbed into the soil of a flower pot with a red pen in the vicinity of where Kurt was found. And again, he was found in a room above a garage at his home, which had been converted into a greenhouse. It was found by an electrician on April the 5th. That note is very problematic. It almost appears to be two separate notes in one and then officially framed as a suicide note. But if you look at the first part of the note, it really reads more like a love letter to his fans, in which he seems to be explaining why it's time for him to step back from the music industry, step away from Nirvana, and his general thoughts on the music industry and so forth. The latter part of the suicide note, so-called, appears to be tacked on. It's not, first of all, according to a number of forensic handwriting analysts, it's not written in the same hand as the first part of the note. And in that part of the suicide note, that's where he talks about, his daughter, Frances Bean, and his wife, Courtney Love, and why he's ending it and so forth. Now, so we have that. Then we have Rosemary Carroll, again, the family lawyer, in conversation with investigator Tom Grant. Now, who was Tom Grant? Well, he was hired by Courtney Love during late March and early April, prior to the discovery of Kurt's body, when he had gone missing, supposedly, after checking himself out of a drug rehab center in Marina del Rey, California. There's a period of about 6 days where he's unaccounted for. Courtney hires Tom Grant to investigate. Now, Tom Grant would go on to find some pretty strange things going on with Courtney and Kurt as well. But again, in conversation with Rosemary, Tom Grant and Rosemary discuss how one of them had found a series of what they described as practice papers, these were found either in a handbag belonging to Courtney or in a desk drawer belonging to Courtney, as if she or someone had been practicing writing in Kurt Cobain's handwriting style. So that is rather damning, if true. And then we have, of course, the whole death scene, the way that Kurt was found, again, with a shotgun. Now, I'm not a hunter, Todd, but I have held a shotgun in my hands, and I know how cumbersome a weapon that can be. So I'm trying to imagine how one would turn that around, place the barrel in one's mouth, and then, unless you have arms as long as Abraham Lincoln, and even then, be able to reach the trigger and pull the trigger. Now, an added complication is, on the end of that shotgun, and it's not a sawed-off shotgun, it's a regular length shotgun barrel. In addition to that, there was a flash suppressor attached to the end of the shotgun, which adds another 6 inches.
Yeah,
so it's even longer. And he was supposedly doing that while he was, had just administered what ends up being about 3 times the lethal dose of heroin into his arm, which would render most people, even hardened addicts, unconscious within seconds. Doesn't add up.
Yeah. So, so we've got these really, I think, valid questions that have come out. But do you think we'll ever get an official inquiry into any of this? I mean, as you mentioned, King County said, no, we're not going to open it. The police department in Seattle says, no, we're not going to reopen this. Are we going to just be, you and I talking about this like this forever? Do you think there'll ever be something official?
I don't know what it would take at this point. When unless there's a wholesale change in the administration, at the police, the prosecutor's office, the medical examiner's office, all of these changes, or unless these institutions, unless there are wholesale changes there, I don't know whether it's possible to reopen it at this point. I just want to add one more little tidbit here I think is important to know. There was a documentary about Kurt and Courtney made several years after. It was shot. It was released, I think, after his death. But in this documentary, a local musician by the name of, who went by the stage name El Duce, was interviewed. And in the interview, El Duce claims, allegedly, reportedly, that Courtney Love approached him. He was a bit of a notorious figure, this El Duce, kind of rough around the edges. Courtney Love, he claims, approached him and asked him to kill Kurt with a shotgun, named the price. When he said, "Are you kidding me?" she allegedly responded, "I'm as serious as a heart attack." Now, make of that what you will. Several days after that interview, El Duce was found dead on the railroad tracks.
So, yeah, I mean, there's just, I don't believe, that there are things such as coincidences. I would tend to think you're of that mindset too.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah. I don't believe in coincidences. Yeah. I mean, there is, there's God's plan. There's, sort of an unveiling of timelines and so forth according to God's plan, even though we still have free will. And then there's something I like to call a rush to judgment. And that is really, that theme runs at least through most of section 3 of the book, Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone. And section 3 is called Killer Chords, and it is about the death of Kurt Cobain, Elvis Presley, Brian Jones, and Jimi Hendrix.
Talk a little bit about that, too, because, as you mentioned, it's a bit thematic, right? People want to get these cases closed sometimes, and maybe a little too fast.
Well, this rush to judgment, as I call it, is not only pervasive in rock music, but we see it, in many other instances, whether we're talking about, 9/11 or going back further, Watergate, or going back to JFK, RFK, MLK. There is sort of the official narrative, this Overton window of, dialogue and questioning that you're allowed to have, but you dare not stray outside of that in polite company. Otherwise, you get slapped down and called a conspiracy theorist. And we're seeing this, today as well, whether we're talking about geopolitics, the war in Iran, whether we're talking about certain pandemics. There is a rush to judgment. There is an official narrative, and often we have, certain mainstream media elites that are sort of carrying the water for the official explanation and, refusing to demonstrate even an ounce of intellectual curiosity.
So let's talk a bit more about just the whole rock and roll aspect of this. And in your book, which you mentioned came out of a podcast, really, but Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone, what is it about? We have so many intriguing deaths, I guess, in the world of rock history.
Well, there's something called the 27 Club.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
and Kurt Cobain, of course, was 27.
That's right.
It actually, you could go all the way back to the 1930s, and he wasn't a rock musician, although he's been sort of referred to as the great-grandfather of rock, and that was Robert Johnson, who was a Delta blues man and who died at 27, and he's sort of, I guess, the first member of that club. And then it was, no one really paid much attention to it until 1969. Brian Jones died in July of 69, age 27, founder of the Rolling Stones. Death, again, a rush to judgment declared death by misadventure and accidental drowning, although there's plenty of evidence to suggest there was foul play. Then we have Jimi Hendrix dying September 18th, 1970, age 27, followed by October 3rd with Janis Joplin, age 27. Then it was forgotten about again for quite a while until Kurt Cobain died in April of 94, age 27, and then forgotten again until, I would say, Amy Winehouse in, I think that was 2011, age 27. So, what is it about the age of 27? I suppose the most prosaic explanation, Todd, would be that happens to be the age when many artists are at their creative peak. They are under enormous pressure from record companies, managers, fans, to tour relentlessly, to create, to produce top-selling albums, to make themselves accessible to the press and the fans, and to add to that deadly mix, that deadly cocktail, sometimes a dependence on alcohol and drugs to escape the aforementioned pressure. And that just is a deadly cocktail that ultimately or can ultimately end in death. That's the prosaic explanation. The more supernatural explanation, whether you want to talk about a deal with the devil, a pact with the devil, and we certainly talk about that in the book, or this I don't mention in the book, but there is kind of an astrological explanation according to some people in the New Age movement, and that is the return of Saturn to your birth chart. When you're born, your Saturn is in your birth chart. At about 27 years later, Saturn returns to the exact same spot in your birth chart, which could be seen as some sort of fulfillment or, close the circle.
Could be any of that. Could be all of that, right? As well. As you mentioned, you tick off a number of those 27 club members. And, the Brian Jones one is kind of interesting, right? That one has that has a lot of the same inklings to it as the Kurt Cobain story, in the sense that I don't think this was an accident.
No. Well, you have Brian Jones, who was, by all accounts, a very proficient swimmer. He was on the swim team in high school. He was an incredibly gifted diver. When the Rolling Stones were touring in Australia, according to Bill Wyman, Brian was the first to rush into the surf, as rough as it might be, because he was a confident swimmer. So after the Stones unceremoniously kicked him out of the band in late June of 1969 because, well, he was in a bit of a downward spiral. He was not at the top of his game, to be kind, and Keith and Mick came down to Sussex, England, where he lived in A.A. Milne's estate, the Cochford Farm, where A.A. Milne wrote Winnie the Pooh, and told him he was out of the band. He sort of spiraled downwards after that, and yes, he drank and he took pills, and he didn't handle them too well. But there was also some very shadowy figures. It was a whole gaggle of people at Cochford Farm that night, some of whom I believe did not have Brian's best interests at heart. And there's lots of evidence for foul play, as people can discover in the book.
All right, before we run out of time, just a couple of other things. I know you touch on things like the infamous or famous "Paul is Dead" portion of the Beatles. That's part of what's in your book, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know that is probably the most famous, conspiracy in rock history. And well, I don't believe that Paul was replaced by a lookalike who was a left-handed bass player and arguably more talented than the original Paul. I do look at the whole legend, almost from a sociological way, that this thing took root and caught fire 60 years ago, before the age of social media and the internet, just by word of mouth and people calling into radio stations, pointing out all these clues, death clues. It's absolutely fascinating.
It truly is. And some people might argue it probably perpetuated the Beatles' career a little bit.
Well, that's the thing, because I think there's an argument to be made that whether it was a decision made at EMI or by George Martin or the Beatles themselves, let's leave a trail of breadcrumbs in our lyrics, on the album covers, particularly Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road, Maybe insert a little backward masking, reverse lyrics if people want to play backwards, and let's just see if the fans pick up on this and run with it. And it's a brilliant marketing ploy, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Buddy Holly, the day the music died, all of that stuff too. That has a lot of layers to it. You get into that.
Absolutely. I got to know Peggy Sue Guerin a little bit and talked to her over the years before she died. Peggy Sue, of course, was Buddy's high school sweetheart and the inspiration for two Buddy Holly and the Cricket songs, Peggy Sue and Peggy Sue Got Married. And Peggy Sue, I don't know that I would say she had the gift of second sight, but she did have a series of prescient dreams leading up to the plane crash, which she tried to warn Buddy about repeatedly. Unfortunately, he didn't take those warnings seriously. That's just one element of chapter 13 in the book, in which I discuss, premonitions, after-death communications, eerie coincidences.
Interesting. One more for you. Let's talk about Led Zeppelin, because I know you get into some of that as well.
Yeah, section 2 is called Cursed Chords, and we look at we look at the occult influences in rock and omens and curses and so forth. Jimmy Page was a devotee of Aleister Crowley, who, by some accounts, was an absolute Satanist. By others, he dabbled in witchcraft and occult magic, and Crowley bought a house on the shores of Loch Ness called Boleskine House in the 1920s. Performed an occult ritual there called the Abramelin Operation, in which he supposedly conjured up, let's call them dark forces. And he did not correctly bind these forces or close the portal before he left in a hurry to Paris. Zoom ahead several decades, Jimmy Page, again a big Crowley fan, who owned a bookshop dedicated to Aleister Crowley's writings, buys the house. And dabbles in some of the same magic. There's all sorts of strange things happening in Boleskine House. It's got a long history of hauntings and strange paranormal activity. A pact supposedly is made between Jimmy Page and the other bandmates. They begrudgingly go along with Jimmy Page's occult fantasy, and then, lo and behold, all of this misfortune befalls the band. Robert Plant almost and his family killed in a car crash on vacation in Greece. His son Carrick dies tragically. John Bonham dies. A number of other people associated with the band die mysteriously.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. And I love. If you're a fan of rock and roll music, you got to pick up the book Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone. Richard Serrett, been great having you on. I'm going to get you back on because you have many, many more tales that you can tell for us, and I've enjoyed our time today.
Todd, been my immense pleasure. Thank you. Anytime.
All right. Get his book, Tales from the Rock and Roll Twilight Zone. We're going to take a break. Be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, it's Dan Shappy with Farmers Insurance. Community matters, and that's why we're proud to support Todd Ortloff and local voices that keep us connected. If you want insurance advice from real neighbors, stop by our office on Peabody Street. Real people helping real people right here at home.
Dan Shappy and Farmers Insurance is proud to sponsor the Todd Ortloff Show every Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers, Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges, and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
One of the biggest and best events in the area is the annual Unity of Effort, a community celebration for our first responders. This year, we welcome guitar and rock vocal virtuoso Lita Ford. This free event is the premier first responder recognition on the peninsula. Be a part of the Unity of Effort, Saturday, August 8th in Sequim. Contact Security Services Northwest to secure a booth or go to unityofeffort.org.
Bathfitter is celebrating over 42,000 installations in Western Washington. That's 42,000 bathrooms made safer, cleaner, and more stylish. Right now, get free installation and no-interest financing for 24 months on the bathroom of your dreams. Custom-fit tub and shower solutions installed in as little as 1 day with complete removal of your old setup, backed by a lifetime warranty. Visit bathfitternw.com for your free consultation. Special financing for qualified buyers only.
Looking for the perfect place to enjoy your next chapter? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim, featuring beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus living. Enjoy modern, low-maintenance living, plus pickleball courts, a community garden, and clubhouse gatherings.
Hey folks, this is Courtney over at Lavender Meadows. We hope to see you soon to check out our 8 new floor plans. Don't forget to ask us about our lease-to-own options.
Come home to Lavender Meadows. Visit lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Straight View Credit Union has been serving the Port Angeles area for nearly 90 years. The recent partnership merger with Great Northwest Federal Credit Union will bring exciting new products while maintaining the same team, location, and quality of service you've come to expect. We are anchored in the people helping people principle that sets credit unions apart. Federally insured by NCUA. Straight View, a division of Great Northwest Federal Credit Union, where community comes together.
Hi, it's Callie here from the Heartline on the Truck Route. My family is proud to have been serving our community for 3 generations. If you're tackling a landscape project, rely on the Heartline for all the supplies you need to make your project shine. Rock, mulch, soil to sand, we've got you covered, and your yard too. The Heartline is your connection for high-quality Deca batteries as well. Cars, bikes, commercial, marine, and power sports. Stop by or give us a call at 452-3157. Rely on the Heartline, top of the truck route, Port Angeles.
Welcome back to the program. In some tech news, Anthropic's Claude, a chatbot, will now ask certain flagged users for a government ID and a selfie. Privacy advocates are already raising serious concerns. Chuck Palm has the story in the new Old Tech Guy segment.
Your AI chatbot may ask you for a copy of your selfie and a driver's license. If you're using the Anthropic Claude chatbot, you may not have a choice. Anthropic has quietly updated their privacy policy in June, and as of July 8th, if your account gets flagged, Claude can ask for a government ID, a selfie, and something called facial geometry template. That's a digital map of your face. Anthropic calls it a routine integrity check. Critics call it a permanent record that you cannot take back. The company handling that verification, Persona, is backed by the same investment fund as Peter Thiel, who's also an Anthropic investor. Discord tried the same vendor for age checks earlier this year and pulled it back after users revolted. Claude's users are having the same reaction now, and Anthropic still hasn't said how long it keeps your ID on file. Verifying who's on the other end of an AI chat isn't unreasonable, but when the ask is your passport and your face, you deserve to know what data goes where and for how long. Before you upload anything, read the policy yourself and ask the questions you'd ask any stranger that wants your ID. Why do you need it? And when are you going to delete it? Follow the new Old Tech Guy on X at Chuck Palm.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
We are paying 14% of our income in taxes, while the super rich are paying 4%. That's backwards.
That's why we came together to win a millionaire's tax this year.
That means more money for schooling kids. It means parents pay less for diapers.
Small business gets a tax break.
It means the super rich have to pay their share.
Blue collar, we have each other's backs. BlueCollarUnity.org.
Paid for by Firelands Workers Building Community Power.
Jim's Pharmacy, your partner for travel health, has great news. No referrals are needed. We will provide you with an international certificate of vaccination and prophylaxis, also known as a yellow card. Vaccinations including yellow fever, typhoid, rabies, cholera, Japanese encephalitis, hepatitis A and B, meningococcal polio, Tdap, and MMR. Jim's has all of your vaccinations, medications, home health, and gifting ideas. We're here to help. Jim's Pharmacy, open 7 days a week behind the Port Angeles Post Office.
Hi everyone, it's Alicia Campion with Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative. We're a worker-owned cooperative. Our caregivers are owners, focused on dignity, trust, and supporting loved ones at home. Accepting care is about independence, not weakness. We care and support the life someone has already built. Join our team or trust us with your loved one's hair. We're Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative, with you at home. Call 360-504-3837.
Since 2011, Grocery Outlet has held their annual Independence from Hunger food drive every July. Head to Grocery Outlet in Port Angeles from now through the end of the month to partake in their 16th annual Independence from Hunger food drive. All proceeds are distributed directly to the Port Angeles Food Bank as well as the PA School District Food Insecurity Program. There are several different ways to participate. Donate $5 or more in a single transaction and receive a coupon for $5 off a future purchase of $25 or more. Purchase a pre-made bag of groceries to be put in the collection bin at the store, or donate online by visiting groceryoutlet.com/donate and choosing the Port Angeles store. Support our locally owned and operated grocery outlet right here in Port Angeles as they support our community. Follow them on Facebook at Port Angeles Grocery Outlet to learn more. Located on East Highway 101.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
At the Y, strength means being together. Swimming, dancing, learning, lifting, or volunteering, to name a few. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
Your voice, your news. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim. AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Following the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham this weekend, South Carolina's Governor Henry McMaster appointing Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Nordone, to carry out the remainder of his term until January.
Lindsey took care of his little sister in years long departed. It's my honor to ask his little sister, Darlene Graham, to finish his work for him now.
A special election will be held August 11th to choose a candidate to run in the general election. The GOP-led Senate also dealing with the absence of Senator Mitch McConnell, who was hospitalized last month. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
For 4 weeks, Mitch McConnell's office did not disclose his health condition or why he was hospitalized. But then yesterday, they released a photo of McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao, and a statement from McConnell explaining that he had a fall, he was briefly unconscious, and then he was treated for a mild case of pneumonia. He was then moved, McConnell says, from the hospital to a rehab facility. He says he didn't have a stroke or a heart attack or anything more serious than that.
The White House has formalized its re-engagement in the war in Iran, notifying Congress on July 10th of renewed military action, according to a copy of the notice obtained by ABC News. Iran announcing a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Now President Trump says a naval blockade will go back into effect, and the U.S. should get a 20% toll.
Now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it, a lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger.
The renewed hostilities pushing oil prices higher, and in the U.S., gas prices nearly 10 cents higher a gallon in the past week.
Analysts say this will be the first weekly rise in gas costs since back in May. Now, before that new round of strikes yesterday, President Trump suggested the U.S. and Iran were close to a deal to move forward with peace talks.
ABC's Karen Hua. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-970-3355. That's 800-970-3355. 800-970-3355.
A string of severe summer storms has multiple states from the Midwest to the Northeast under states of emergency.
At least one person is dead in Missouri after as much as a foot of rain fell in just hours early Friday. Houses surrounded by water. More than 350 people rescued in Missouri alone. In Philadelphia, the National Weather Service confirming at least 4 microbursts tore through the city. 70-mile-per-hour winds downing hundreds of trees and ripping roofs off buildings.
ABC's Ginger Z. A federal judge in Florida referred President Trump's attorneys for potential disciplinary action over their filing of the $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. That led to the creation of the now abandoned Anti-Weaponization Fund.
U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams' 56-page order is unsparing in its assessment of what she describes as bad faith actions of President Trump, his Justice Department, and his personal lawyers to use a lawsuit filed against his own government to legitimize a settlement that she says would have never survived judicial review. Williams also directly called out Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche at multiple points throughout her order and suggests he provided misleading testimony before Congress when probed over the Justice Department's now dismissed Anti-Weaponization Fund. The ruling comes 2 days ahead of Blanche's confirmation hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
ABC's Peter Harlumbos, Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. The Port of Port Angeles will resume direct management of the Port Angeles Boat Haven, the boatyard, and fuel dock starting this Wednesday. Port officials say services will continue without interruption as operations transition from Petrocard back to the port. That after the port terminated the contract with Petrocard. A 20-year-old Marysville man was killed. A 20-year-old Forks man was injured in a rollover crash Saturday night on Highway 112 near Clallam Bay. State Patrol says the pickup lost control while trying to pass another vehicle. Neither occupant was wearing a seatbelt. The crash still under investigation.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 68 this afternoon under mainly clear skies. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 52 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 73. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the low 70s to the mid 70s. Slight chance of rain Thursday. Take a look at the extended forecast. 71 Friday, 75 Saturday, and 77 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 64 degrees.
Normal is broken, common sense is weird, so we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network and the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, I'm Dave Ramsey. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter is my co-host today. Richard is in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you doing well today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so my wife and I are on baby step 4. We're trying to save up to buy a house now. We currently have $80,000, and my parents are willing to put in $50,000, so a total down payment of $130,000. The problem is in the Fort Worth area, property taxes are very, very high, and any home with a value of under $270,000 is going to have major foundation issues. And when we have found a home that we do like and we want to put an offer in, every time we've been outbid by quite a bit. So do we continue looking, or do we just take our money, give up on the getting a house, and just put that money towards retirement?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's putting half down.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I like your idea. Well, I'm sorry you hadn't been able to find a house yet, but I suspect you will if you continue on the journey. House hunting is never a perfect process. It's not like going to the grocery store and just walk down at Costco and get 5 gallons of peanut butter and not think anything about it. You do have to hunt. And yes, there are some foundation issues in the Fort Worth area. It's the nature of the soil you have there. But to say that all homes in that price range in Fort Worth have foundation issues is not a true statement. That's a little bit over-dramatized, to say the least.
Well, we've been looking at homes for 6 months, and I can count on one hand the amount of homes we've seen without foundation issues.
Well, Richard, what if you guys limited it down to a 20% down payment and got a larger home? Or not larger, but more, not that its size has to, not that it's larger in size, but in quality.
Yeah, and
in value.
Richard, the idea that all homes in Fort Worth have, all but 5, have foundation issues, honestly, I'm going to call you out again. That's bullcrap, okay? That's not true. Okay. That's just not true. You may not have found them. I don't know what you're looking at or what your deal is, but that's just not true. Although otherwise, the entire city of Fort Worth would have fallen in by now, and no one would live there. And instead, it's quite a prosperous area. It does very well. It's a wonderful town. And so, but you're not wrong in the fact that there's probably a lot that do. It is a foundation issue in the Fort Worth, Dallas area in general. It's a soil thing, a sand content. And so, versus Tennessee, where we got rock and clay. You want a basement here, you got to get dynamite involved. So, because we grow rocks like people grow trees. But, so, I mean, it's something all the time. But the other question is this: to what extent is the foundation damaged? Is this a structural problem, or did you walk in and see a hairline crack and go into drama mode? Because I've never poured any concrete, and I've been in the real estate business most of my life, that it didn't crack eventually. 100% of concrete will shift and crack. There's just no such thing, okay? Because soil moves, earth moves. It's life. It expands and contracts with moisture and freezing and temperature.
There's also the
all that. So are you overdoing that?
Well, yes, I would ask all those questions for sure. And then I also would say, okay, well, maybe your expectations of what you get for a $260,000 house is maybe not up to your part. And so maybe you either lower your expectations of what you're going to get, or maybe you say, hey, you know what, let's use this instead of a 50% down payment, let's do a 30%, right? I mean, like,
yeah, assuming you have the income to support that.
100%, yes. So I'm like, there is a reality to what you can buy with this amount of money and what you're seeing, sure. But I agree with you to just make blatant full statements about all houses somewhere. Yep.
Cameron in St. Louis. How are you, Cameron?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I need to know if I should use some of my investment money to pay down some student loans and a car loan.
How much do you have in investments?
About $30,000 that I can pull out, and then I have a couple different accounts that I could take some penalties on, but try not to do that.
Is the $30,000 in non-retirement accounts?
Yes.
The other accounts are retirement accounts with the penalties?
Yes.
Okay. And how much debt do you have?
I have $3,000 in student loans. My wife has $18,000, and then we have an $18,000 car payment.
So you can't clear everything?
Pretty close to it. I have some saved up too in savings.
Oh, how much is that?
About $5,000.
Okay, so you got 35, but I thought I heard 18 and 3 and what was the other number?
18,503. So I guess I have about 40,000 in debt.
So you don't have enough money.
Quite,
okay.
But,
all right. I thought I heard that right. Okay. But you're close. All right. So you've not been listening to us a long time, I take it.
No, just started a couple weeks ago.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome. We appreciate you being here. We're weird because America runs around going into debt all the time. And what we discovered several decades ago when I went broke and lost everything was that the shortest distance between where you are and wealth is not savings. It is clearing off all debt and staying out of debt, because your most powerful wealth building tool is your income. And when you don't have any debt, you can use your income for generosity and for wealth building, and you will become wealthy much faster than those investments will make you wealthy. So, So all of that to say, we're all about getting people out of debt so that they can become wealthy faster.
Yes.
Which is going to lead us
does it
to the
matter
answer.
how much
Yeah, which is going to lead us to the answer to
are-
your question is yes. We would clean out the savings and the investments, and we would pay off your debts smallest to largest. So I'd pay off you said you got a little credit card, and I'd cut it up, no more using it. And I'd pay off the car and never buy another car the rest of your life unless you pay cash for it.
Okay.
Ever again, because car payments will make you broke and keep you broke. And then we're going to clean off the largest debt, most of it, but not quite all of it, which was the student loan, if I heard my numbers right.
Yeah.
Okay. And see, now you don't have a car payment, now you don't have a credit card, and now you're on a written budget, and you're going to knock out that last little bit of debt. And without all those payments, if you just took all those payments and invested them for the next 15 or 20 years, just that will make you a millionaire. And we're going to take you much further than that.
I guess I have another question.
Okay.
Does it matter what our income to our debt ratio really is, I guess? Because me and my wife are both engineers and make quite a bit of money, but I don't know if it makes sense to pull all this out or just keep doing what we're
How
doing.
much do you guys
and
make
paying
a
stuff
year?
off.
I'm just curious. How combined income?
With my bonus, we make about $200,000.
Okay. I'm going to send you a copy of the book, Baby Steps Millionaires. We did the largest study of millionaires ever done. And oddly enough, the number one career track of the typical millionaire is engineer. Because you guys know how to work a system, and I'm going to teach you a system. And if you'll follow it, just like you follow engineering principles, it will work. And so, no, it doesn't make any difference. You can't out-earn stupidity. So I don't care what you make. You still got to run the principles. Hang on, we'll send you a copy of the book. If you're behind on your bills, doing more of the same isn't going to fix it. You need a different plan. And that's why I tell people about Guardian Litigation Group. Listen, if you've missed payments, if collectors are calling nonstop, or you're getting letters about legal action, that's your signal. Because the longer you wait, the fewer options you usually have, and once it turns into a lawsuit, things can get more expensive and more complicated fast. Guardian Litigation is a law firm, not a call center. From day one, you are assigned an attorney who represents you. So if a creditor moves forward, you're not caught off guard and you're not hit with surprise legal fees. Guardian Litigation only gets paid when the debt is negotiated and the client accepts the settlement offer. So don't ignore the problem. Take control of it. Go to guardianlit.com/Ramsey right now. That's guardianlit.com/Ramsey.
Attorney advertising. Results may vary and no specific outcome is guaranteed. Hey, George Camel here. A few years ago, someone stole my identity. And let me tell you, that is not a quick fix. It takes hours on the phone, piles of paperwork, and a whole lot of stress trying to untangle the mess. And even after that, there's this nagging paranoia because your information is already out there. And the truth is, you can do all the right things and still become a victim. That's how common identity theft is. And that's why I'm glad I had Xander's identity theft protection. When my identity was stolen, their team stepped in right away. They were monitoring my information and caught the issue, and their U.S.-based recovery specialists helped handle the calls, the paperwork, the cleanup, so I didn't have to do it all on my own. Xander also includes up to $2 million in stolen funds and expense reimbursement, and with the family plan, your kids are covered for free. You work too hard to let identity theft steal your time, your money, and your peace of mind. Go to Xander.com to enroll in Xander's identity theft protection today, or call them at 800-356-4282. Again, that's Xander.com, or call them at 800-356-4282.
Hey guys, Rachel Cruz here. So many parents I talk to lately feel a little lost when it comes to talking to their kids about money. It comes up when I'm coaching people and even in my own group of friends. They want to teach their kids how to spend responsibly, the joy of giving generously, the value of hard work, how to avoid college debt, and more. If that's something you've been feeling too, don't worry. Instilling these values in your kids is easier than you think. You just need a guide. That's why my dad, Dave Ramsey, and I wrote a book, Smart Money, Smart Kids. This best-selling book is our no-nonsense approach to teaching kids and teens the basics of money. These money lessons are crucial to their financial future, especially right now in our debt-obsessed world. This book will set your whole family up for success and open up meaningful conversations with your kids around money, no matter how old they are. Go to the online store at RamseySolutions.com today to get your copy of Smart Money, Smart Kids. That's RamseySolutions.com.
Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here. If you have a money question and you're not sure what to do next, you're not alone. I hear that every single day on this show from people who feel stuck and who are looking for advice. That is exactly why we built Ask Ramsey. It's a free tool on our website that uses Ramsey-backed AI to help answer your money questions. Think of it like a smart chatbot that is trained on the same Ramsey principles we teach here every day. Not random advice from the internet. You ask your question and it gives you a clear, straightforward answer for your situation. Whether you're making a big decision, trying to figure out a move, or just need something explained the Ramsey way. Ask Ramsey gives you answers fast and helps you move forward with confidence. And yes, it really is that simple. No guessing and no spinning your wheels. Best of all, it's free. Go to RamseySolutions.com to ask your question today. RamseySolutions.com. Jane is in New York City. Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks, Dave.
What's up?
I'm 52 years old. I've been married 28 years. I have 2 college-age kids. And up until last year, I took care of paying the bills from my and my husband's joint account. We had no debt, no loans, no car payments, and we had about $120,000 saved up it was to buy a house. So last year when we would have an argument, sometimes my husband would say, maybe I should just take over the finances. And I just brushed it off like that's a weird thing to say because we never had separate accounts or anything. And he had access to everything. So in May, he tells me that he wants to spend $11,000 on day trading. And so I reluctantly said, okay. In the past, he lost money day trading as well. But I just figured that he would just get it out of his system. And if he got anything, that would be great. But it was just $11,000. So it turns out that I gave him all the finances because it was, too stressful for me. And through the summer, he just depleted the entire savings. So $50,000, $45,000, $30,000. Whenever I would ask him about it, he would just say, I moved it to another account, and I'm not answering any questions about it. And during that time, our landlord also told us that we need to move. And so I was like, we need that money to get a house. And my mom also gave us $50,000 when she found out we needed to move. So he says, no, we're going to stay here another year, and I'm going to day trade, and I can double this money. And so it was extremely stressful. Finally, in April, after asking him all winter, what are we going to do, what are we going to do, what are we going to do, because I had no access to anything anymore. I had I couldn't see anything. If I asked him to show me what he's doing, he said, I don't want you looking over my shoulder. And
so why have you tolerated this?
I didn't. What could I have done?
Well, I mean, what do you do if your husband's doing cocaine?
I don't know what I would do. Call the police?
Yeah. I mean, just tell him he's either going to go into rehab or I'm going to divorce you.
Yeah, well.
Because I'm not going to stand here while you ruin the whole freaking family with your moronic day trading.
Well, he lost it all.
I'm sure he did. 97% of day traders lose everything.
Yeah.
And now we still need to move, and I still have $130,000 in savings.
You do?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Gave it to from my mom. He has no access to that money.
Oh. Okay.
I still have that. It's separate.
Yeah.
He can't touch that money.
Yeah, that's what I would. Well, that's the first thing I would do, Jane, is start separating everything, and like you did with that account, that he cannot have access anymore because the trust is completely broken, and how he's handled that, and how he's handled you in the process, giving you no voice in it, completely brushing you off, putting you to the side. That's a complete marriage breakdown, and that's the red flag that I see, is that your marriage, that's on the rocks, right? When your husband treats you like that. And it's way more than the money problem at that point. That's a husband and wife issue. So have you guys reached out to have any level of change or something, or is he just completely basically ignoring you through all of this?
He's ignoring me. I asked the pastor for counseling, And he said that he doesn't believe in so he went to the first counseling session, and he said to the pastor, I don't believe in any of this, so I'm not going to say anything. And he refused to talk.
Yeah. That's a hard place to go forward, right? I mean, again, beyond the money situation.
Yeah, if you just change
like
this extreme misbehavior to a different kind of extreme misbehavior, it indicates to you what's going on and then how you're going to have to handle it. And that's going to be under the direction of your pastor, under the direction of a counselor, not under my direction. But it's going to end up in an ultimatum because you're not going to live like this. I can hear it in your voice. You're not going to put up with this a lot longer.
Yeah, she almost didn't put up with you when you were like at the beginning. You got fired, Jane. You got some fire in you, which is good.
Well, I told him, I said, I'll pay all the debt off, and whatever's left, I'll give a down payment for the house, but you have to stop trading.
And give me control of all the money.
Yeah, I said, give me control of all the money, and you can't touch it until trust is gained, and he said no.
Yeah. Then he's saying, Dr. John Deloney says behavior is a language. He's saying, I don't want to be married to you. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
So you need to sit down with your pastor, honey, and you need to talk about whether or not you're going to stay married in an abusive relationship because you're being abused.
Okay.
And it's not fair to you. You know, the way you've been treated is wrong. And it's as if he's doing cocaine and he says, oh, I'm not going to go to a counselor. I don't need help. I'm not addicted. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Well, you got two other people sitting here going on the other side of this, and in 3.5 minutes, we determined that you don't have a problem. He does. Your only problem is him.
Okay.
And so he's either going to engage in change or you're not going to be there because I can tell listening to you, you're not going to put up with it much longer. And the problem is if you don't sit down and address this directly with a counselor, with some help, you're going to go. I've done this for almost 40 years now, and I've sat with couples, and I don't know, I do not understand this, and I'm going to get criticized for saying this, but women in particular put up with crap longer and longer and longer and longer, and all of a sudden, a switch flips, and you're done, and no amount of nothing will get you back. We can't reel you back in. You're just done. Like the thing tipped over, and Humpty Dumpty is over. You can't put the boy back together again. And I don't want you to reach that point accidentally. If you're going to reach that point, I want you to do it intentionally.
Yeah, and Jane.
And with some help, honey, with some help.
No, I just want to circle back, though. I mean, her heart just shattered on the phone. I mean, it's a scary reality, and I don't want to be flippant about it, Jane.
I'm not flippant.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying in general because I feel we can say something on the side of the desk, and then we move on to the next call about mutual funds, right? And here she is picking up this reality that maybe has not been said out loud before to her. There's a reality that's going to play out for her that's very real and very hard, Jane. And so I think reminding yourself of you're not the crazy one. You're not in the wrong. What you're asking him to do is not over the top or bizarre. Like you are the sane one in this. And if he cannot participate in sanity and continues to live in insanity, you can't live your life like that. And so we are here for you. I don't know. I just felt for her just then.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Amen.
That's so difficult, Jane. In 28 years, I mean, you just feel like your life just kind of just shatters, and because of his behavior. And if he's changed or something's happened, I don't know if you could get to the bottom of it, of what's going on. But if he refuses to change, you cannot change him.
You can't make people do stuff.
No.
And that's why so many addicts end in divorce.
I wonder if day trading, not to put day traders in that level, but it's some level of like,
definitely.
You know what I mean? It's the same. It's like the same hit of like a gambling or
exactly what it is.
What that is. Like it's
a dopamine hit. It's a high.
Yeah.
And it's like pulling the arm on the slot machine, walking up the craps table. It's the same stuff. It's setting up the same cycle. It's a feedback loop. And Easter talks about it in his book Scarcity Loop. And the Scarcity Loop talks about exactly how this is going on, what's going on. But because when a guy is so wrapped up in that, or a person is so wrapped up in that they can't look at their spouse of 28 years and listen.
Right. That's what makes me mad for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And but she can't make him do it.
No.
The only thing she can do is make him wish he had done it. That's the only thing she can do. And it's just, and protect herself.
I was going to say, Jane, that's my number one step for you.
Yeah.
Is I'm so glad you have that other account, and I would be taking my name off things. And I mean,
It's different, but it does always help me to go to the extreme and say, okay, if he's doing cocaine and we had the exact same set of verbiage.
Yeah. If
what
drugs,
would you do?
Right.
What would you do?
Right.
Because it's exactly
whatever
it's
it is,
still
yeah.
a misbehavior. Okay, still I'm screwing around and I'm messing up my whole life and I'm messing up my wife's life and my kid's life. Okay, so call it what you want to call it. But if you're doing cocaine and you sat with a pastor and he goes, I'm not going to talk, I don't believe in counseling, and I'm not going to give you any more money for drugs, then I'm not going to talk to you and I'm going to shut you out. It's like, well, that's all language of an addict.
Yeah.
Here's something most Medicare agents won't say. Most of them can't show you all your options. They're tied to a handful of companies, so they're only going to show you what those few sell. That's why I want you to know about Chapter. They search thousands of plans across dozens of carriers to find what fits you, and that can save you a lot of money. We heard from Mary in Virginia, who was paying over $400 a month. Chapter helped her switch to a plan for $168. That's over $2,700 a year back in her pocket. And listen, you only get certain windows of time to make this decision. If you miss it, you could be stuck with the wrong plan for an entire year. But here's the good news. Chapter's services are completely free to you. So don't settle for limited options or guess your way through this. Just dial pound 250 and say Medicare. That's pound 250 and say Medicare.
Picture this. A warm summer evening, great company, and the perfect deck beneath your feet. If you're looking to build a deck, or your current deck is showing its age, it's time for an upgrade. And your favorite employee-owned stores, Angeles Millwork and Hartnaggles, are here to help. Our employee owners don't just sell decking, we listen, guide, and make sure you get the perfect materials for your home, budget, and lifestyle. Looking for natural beauty? Cedar and Douglas fir decking bring warmth and real wood character, but they do require regular upkeep. Want low maintenance durability? Composite decking blends wood and plastics for long-lasting strength with minimal care. But maybe you need the ultimate in longevity. PVC decking comes with warranties of up to 50 years and requires little more than a simple rinse to stay looking great. See and feel the difference for yourself. Visit lumbertraders.com or stop by Angeles Millwork or Hartnaggles to talk with a decking specialist today. As always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
Does the thought of stepping into a funeral home make you feel a little nervous or uneasy? If so, that is okay. It's very normal. Here at Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, we want to let you know that you don't actually have to come into one of our funeral homes to make advanced planning for yourself or a loved one. We can complete the process over the phone and via email. Greater peace of mind is just one phone call away. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Checkup on Health, presented by Olympic Medical Center.
Checkup on Health with Chris Whitting. We should use flax seeds in breads, muffins, and cereals because it contains the highest levels of alpha-linolenic acid, a fat that fights heart disease. Nutritionist Diane Morris says flax also contains lignans.
Lignans are phytoestrogens, compounds found in plants which affect the metabolism of the hormone estrogen in our bodies. There's quite a bit of very interesting research on the ability of these lignans to offer protection against certain types of cancers which are affected by estrogen. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, and actually cancer of the endometrium. And the results in animal studies show that flaxseed lignans are powerful fighters against cancer. They reduce tumor volume and tumor number.
The flaxseed has a nutty taste and is a good source of fiber, too. With Checkup on Health, I'm Chris Whitting.
Your feet are the foundation for everything you do, but chronic foot pain can throw your entire day and your balance completely off track. Finding relief starts with understanding the root cause and choosing the right support. Olympic Medical Center has put together expert advice to help you manage foot pain and pick the perfect footwear. Visit olympicmedical.org/footpain to learn how to test drive your shoes for the best fit and stability and to get back on track today.
As we all live longer, age really is just a number, but retirement is so much more than one. Hi, I'm Anthony Sanders, your Port Angeles Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to know what retirement means to you. Together we can look at the big picture and make a strategy to help you reach your goals, because you can't prepare for the unexpected if you don't know where you're headed. Call me at 360-452-0550 or visit edwardjones.com to get started today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. military says it's carrying out more strikes against Iranian targets tonight. President Trump now vowing that the U.S. will take over the strait and charge a toll after Iran announced another blockade for ships. South Carolina's governor appointing Darlene Graham Nordone, the sister of the late Senator Lindsey Graham, to carry out the rest of his term. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more.
She doesn't have a political background. I mean, the two were incredibly close siblings. He essentially helped raise her. The family has dealt with so many tragedies throughout the year and came from very humble roots, which he's talked about quite often. And so it's seen as a ceremonial kind of gesture of the fact that she would be able to play out the rest of his term.
His term ends in January. President Trump will deliver a primetime address Thursday. Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News the president plans to detail information he has recently received from the Office of the Interim Director of National Intelligence related to the 2020 election. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 68. Northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 52. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Sunshine expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 73. I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 64 degrees.
Nancy's in Los Angeles. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate your advice.
Sure. What's up?
Yeah, my fiance, he's 71 years old, and I'm 56. We're getting married in the Catholic Church in October. He wants a prenup, and I don't. He's retired, has $2 million saved, and a house paid off. The house is worth $700,000. I'm still working. I have $600,000 saved. Neither of us have debt. He lives in San Francisco. I'm in Los Angeles. I just want to walk to the altar with him and marry our lives together. And I would like your advice because I want to build a life with him. And I think for me to leave my home, my security, my job, and be a visitor in his home, with a prenup, it doesn't feel like a marriage to me.
What's your home? What's your home worth?
No, I'm in an apartment. I live in Los Angeles and I'm still working.
All right. So you just leave your, okay. You're not leaving a home that you own. So you have $600,000 saved, and you make what at your job?
$60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he's retired. He's not working.
He's 71 and you're 56.
71. I'm 56.
Okay. Okay. What would make you comfortable in the prenup other than all or nothing? You're assuming he wants all or nothing, right?
Yeah, he's just nervous because he's 71 and wants to protect. And I said, listen, I want to go. Catholic is forever. When you get married in the church, we don't prepare for divorce. And I don't want to prepare for divorce because that creating that situation and that kind of fear, walking down the aisle together. And he's worried about his investments and losing half of what he's made because we can't go back to work, right? So, we both love each other fiercely, and this is.
Yeah, we don't recommend prenups except where there's extreme differences in net worth, and this is an extreme difference in the net worth. And so I don't know why it represents. I understand Catholicism, and I understand marriage is forever, and I don't have a problem with that. And I understand that you are somewhat vulnerable if you leave your job, and then he decided he wanted to put you out and keep his 2.7, and you had your 600, and you had to start over at 58 years old 2 years from now. That's not fair to you. But the prenup could say that you got $500,000, but just not half of 2.7.
And also, I'm leaving Los Angeles, my home, my family, my work, my whole community.
You're leaving a $60,000 job and an apartment in Los Angeles. So financially, you're not leaving anything.
I work in the entertainment
I'm sorry?
which doesn't really exist up there.
I'm sorry. Say one more time. You're muffled on that.
Entertainment industry also, which doesn't really exist up there where he's at.
Okay, that's fine. So you're giving up a $60,000 job to move in with a multimillionaire and be married to him. And if you get a divorce, you would want something to start your life over with to offset that $60,000. And I just said, the prenup could say $500,000 of his money goes to you. At that point, you'd have $1.1 million, and looking for a job, I think you could survive. I'm not suggesting that that's going to happen. In this situation, statistically, it's much more likely that he dies than you get divorced. Agreed?
Yeah, I never see us getting divorced, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see you getting divorced either, but I'm just saying. So what happens to his money when he dies, in your mind?
Does he have grown kids?
Oh, neither of us have children.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the prenup is just for.
I know. I'm asking you, what have the discussions been? What happens to his money when he dies?
We haven't discussed that, but
that would be something to know.
It would.
That's much more likely to happen than divorce. I'd really want to know that.
Right. I'm sure it would go to whichever spouse is alive at the time.
I'm not sure. He wants a prenup.
Right.
So let me just tell you, we're just being cold and calculated, not romantic, okay? Because you called and asked about this.
You called Dave, so
we'll let Rachel do the romance, okay? But I'm too old for that. But the deal is, he's 71, you're 56. I'm going to give you a 90% probability he dies before you or before you got divorced. In that case, there's a 90% chance you should be a lot more worried about what happens to this money on death, and you haven't even discussed that.
Right. I mean, we've discussed a living trust, and I guess that's where that would take effect.
Yeah, but a living trust can have a different beneficiary. Does all the money come to you at death? If it does, that changes the discussion on the prenup a little bit. But to answer your question overall, I don't think it's un-Catholic. I don't think it's lacking in commitment when there's an extreme difference in asset base to get a prenup. If you were two 22-year-olds that were broke and he wanted